Trust Bank because we take pride in satisfying every customer's financial needs.
Introducing the future of hassle-free and seamless financial transaction. The Una Wallet app, empowering you to effortlessly manage your money anytime, anywhere. With the Una Wallet app, you can now enjoy branchless banking, wallet-to-wallet transfer, wallet-to-cash, and bank cross-border payments, deposit at a bank, and withdraw from any Una branch. Get ready to experience the ultimate banking convenience with the Una Wallet app. With just few taps on your phone, you can effortlessly add funds, withdraw, and send money to your loved ones. The Una Wallet app also provides a detailed history of your transaction, making it easier to track your expenses. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Una Wallet app today on Play Store or App Store and say goodbye to hassle of traditional banking. Una Forex Bureau Limited, delivering much more than money.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday. I'm Murund and I'm back again in the studio. Of course, just like my editor said, the rumble of the two economists. We're here to look at the audit reports, the audit reports Oljibela. And of course, we will talk about a lot of politics, right? With me, I have Dr. Ousman Gajigo. Dr. Gajigo, how do I call him now? Politician. Politician. He has joined Dr. Manneh and the political field.
Patriotic Gambian.
Patriotic Gambians Alliance, PPA, right?
Patriotic Progressive Alliance.
Patriotic.
That's
Progressive Alliance, yeah.
A political party, yeah, because you are a party only when IEC gives the approval. So we are in the process. We
They have submitted
all of the documents. We are waiting for the IEC's communication.
That's formality.
Actually, I said patriotic.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know.
He
told me he was forming the party, but I didn't know the name.
Yes.
Because anybody fighting against this government today
is a
patriotic Gambian.
Yeah.
We want to put the Gambia back on track. So I just said patriotic and it just coincided.
Yeah, it's a Patriotic Progressive Alliance, right?
Yes. But it's good to make the clarification so that I don't run afoul of any law. So as of this moment, it's not yet a
political party, yeah.
But we've submitted our documents.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you
for joining. You know, I said, before we don't have the likes of you and him joining politics and being in the media platforms like this. But for the past couple of years, this is what we have seen. And this is what Gambians want to see. People that are, really educated, smart, and intelligent, have experience to also join politics. We have that before, when it was more of the elderly people. But now we have, young and middle-aged people also joining and women joining. I think that is good. Last week I had Sao here, and his running mate is Nene Chiasin.
Yes.
I was like, we should have more women also joining.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome to the program, Mr. Manneh.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I totally agree with you because politics, everybody's business is politics.
Yeah.
And politics is everybody's business.
Yeah.
You better come in there. You can't just sit on the fringes and complain all the time.
True.
Get in there, muddy your hands, and for the country. We're doing this for the country.
Yeah.
So let's all get in there. If you don't, other people will do it for you, and they might not be the best choice.
Yeah.
And you cannot complain if you had the choice to do it. Just go in there and do it. Do it for the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to charge you for this advertisement. I see you advertising. Don't steal, don't lie, job.
Don't break.
I have to charge you for advertisement, right?
I'll send the bill to Yanks.
Yeah, please. Send me the bill to change the chairman.
To pay for that.
They should pay for it. But welcome to the show. I think the first thing we want to look at is the audit reports. We have seen the National Audit Office releasing tons of audit reports, 2021, 2022, and 2023 reports. Very damaging. One thing that I know of head is and I want to address that first. The first lady's air ticket to the United States, almost $1 million for an air ticket. I have said this last week. I have traveled quite a bit, but $1 million is for a first-class ticket. What's your first reaction when you saw something like this first?
No, I mean, it's shocking. It's, the audit report. I mean, first of all, let's, I listened to an interview recently where a National Assembly member pointed out something. This is not the government going out of its way to be transparent. They were actually pushed. It's development partners that insisted on these reports to be released. You have to recall these reports are from 2001, 2021, 22, 23. This is many years back. They've been sitting there collecting dust. This government was in no hurry for these reports to be released. So, number one, we have to thank foreign actors for these reports to see the light of the day. And we can also connect this, the release of these reports, these audit reports, with what happened a few weeks back, the removal of the Auditor General. As far as I'm concerned, the current Auditor General, I don't, when you ask me, I'll say the purported Auditor General, because the removal of Mr. Cisse is something that is legally dubious, and the issue is being litigated in court as we speak. So, but when you realize that this guy was being removed just a few weeks back, we were all wondering why. So I cannot help but wonder if the recent release of these audit reports somehow is tied to the removal of, or the attempted removal of Mr. Cisse. So, but going back to the content, the amount here that has been misspent, that is unaccounted for, or basically misused, we are talking about in billions, not millions, billions. And this all has been happening during a period when the quality of life for the average Gambian has been going down. Cost of living has been going up. When people go to clinics, medicines are lacking. Agricultural productivity has been going down. Opportunities for youths, it's been non-existent. Yet throughout this whole time, the government has been sitting on this. No actions have been taken to correct what has happened. The people who have been, adversely mentioned here, not only are they continuing to enjoy job security, but some of them actually been promoted. So this is as I've written earlier in the newspaper column. This is something that is absolutely. We've had a lot of indications that things are going wrong in the government, but what these audit reports uncovered should concern every Gambian.
Mr. Manneh, it is scary when you look at the numbers that are coming out on these audit reports. From the 32 million that the central government gave to the OIC and then told the OIC to pay private businesses, even without any procedural documentation, to the millions on the road projects. I remember you saying this here. The reason why they keep building these roads is because that's where they do all the corruption. And if the audit reports is to go by, it looks like that is what is happening.
That's what's happening, and what we're going to see when we come to the auditing of the Batil Harding road, that's going to be corruption on steroids. Corruption on steroids. Look, for a small road in NBR Sabasanjat, they say 377 million unaccounted for. And I heard Minister Silla the other day,
Yeah.
Tuesday, saying that it's because they had to add another couple of kilometers of road to that existing one to have a loop. That's where the 377 went to. Are you serious? If you're going to do that, that shows, first of all, the poor planning on the part of the government.
Yeah.
You don't just plan those roads and then you come have additions like they've been doing Battle Hardy and this afterthoughts. If you start those roads and you find out that you need an additional whatever number of kilometers because the people are asking, you do a phase 2 of the project. You don't just do a rider and bring in $377 million to cover that. One, you have flouted all the procurement procedures because you're going to give it to who? He said they wanted to give it to the same contractor. They don't have to start again. You cannot just give a contract for $377 million to a contractor on a rider. You're supposed to have fresh bidding for that. Well,
yes.
You're supposed to do a new project. Do the necessary documentation and preparation and everything and the feasibility, pre-feasibility and all that stuff and do the work. You don't just get up and do your ride. See, those riders are what bring in all the corruption. You undervalue a project and then you start putting riders in place to be able to raise the value of somebody who you want to give it to, who is probably the lowest bidder, but who is going to find much more later on. All of these things, you know the tricks. This is what they're up to. But more importantly, when you have a government which does that, and then instead of being contrite, comes and tell you, oh, you know, the auditors are just accusing us, but we did provide information. It might, you know, it might have come in late. That's what Ibrahim Silla was saying.
Yeah.
He's saying, you know, the audit reports, we did provide them information. Maybe got there late because some of these things may be time bound. Maybe. Maybe they are time bound. But these guys don't have any idea or they're not concerned about time. That's why they took 4-5 years to release audit reports until they were forced to do so. These audit reports, in spite of what Silla and his boss, Adam Barrow, say, are not opinions. These are scientifically done work. The auditors go out there, they do their investigations, they collect the documentation, they check everything. When they finish, they send it back to you and say, this is what we found. This is what the documentation proves. This is lack of the documentation, this is what it proves. Now, can you tell us where we got it wrong? If we did, show us and give us evidence that we got it wrong, and we'll rectify our report. You don't do that. You wait until the reports are published, and then you complain because you have that possibility, and then you have the management response. You have all of those things. You don't do a thing to disculpate yourself, and then you come back and say, oh, the auditors got it wrong. No, they didn't. No, you are not being transparent to certain information, one, or you were corrupt and you could not prove that you are not corrupt, and you did things that you know you're not supposed to do. So it's sit on the documents. Just like the same thing we saw, GRA was supposed to have been audited and it refused to produce documents. Is that even legal? No, it's not. This is what is happening in this government. Everybody is kind of, you know, in a phase where the impunity is just all over the government. You can do anything and get away with it. Why on earth would a minister condone that sort of behavior? He should have been out there demanding results from his staff. And this is where we say these sort of things. You need performance contracts for all of those ministers and directors, and if you don't perform, you pay for it. There are consequences. Yeah. And if the audit reports go wrong, there are consequences. But if the president himself tells you they are just opinions, what consequences do you have? Now, if you look at the trend, I'm not surprised by these reports. In fact, I expect more.
Especially in 24-25.
And then they're going to find more when this government changes because there are a lot of hidden things. 2018, 19, 20,
yeah.
$11 billion went missing over 3 years. And what has been happening since is worse.
Yeah.
So all that we see in this audit report for these 3 years, 21 to 23, well, when the forensic audit is properly done, you'll see much more than that.
Talking about missing things, the audit report said in ending 31st December 2022, they have uncovered the omission of 187 bank accounts held in commercial banks, none of which were disclosed in the official records.
Exactly.
187. I remember this very well during the Janneh Commission.
Yeah.
Where they were saying they ordered them to close all accounts. I remember Amadou Sane he closed those accounts. In fact, there was a time when I interviewed him here one time, he said, in fact, there was a time they were fighting about 1 or 2 audit accounts that they refused to close, and they made sure they were all closed.
Yeah.
How do we have 187 accounts open that the auditors said were not in our official books, Dr. Gajigo?
Well, that means, I mean, as I mentioned, I mean, and as Manneh just mentioned here now, what, the amount of money that has been embezzled, misappropriated, and, through corruption. Even these audit reports, when they're all done, just be the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
I mean, I can give an example. I went through, at some point, I wrote an article where I went through, audited accounts of NAWEC for 5 years.
Yeah.
And between 2017 and 2021, over $1 billion.
You said that.
Were either misappropriated or unaccounted for. And I'm going to do another writing on that.
Yeah.
This is just one state-owned enterprise.
State of enterprise, yeah.
Just for a specific period of time. Does it even include the past 5 years? This is just NAWEC.
Yeah.
Over 1 billion. And those audit reports have been out. And the government hasn't done anything about it. No actions whatsoever. So it is not surprising what has happened here. It is not surprising those accounts are there, and they will stay open, because here there is the people or the leaders here that are supposed to take responsibility, hold others accountable. This is, I mean, and principally I'm referring to Adam Barrow himself. He's the one who has set the tone. Basically, these audit reports mean nothing to the government, because it's Adam Barrow who went before the nation and said, these are opinions. So as far as he's concerned, this might just be somebody standing on the street and making accusations.
Is that the reason why nothing has been done? Because what we have seen, though, it was the National Audit Office that raised some flags in some area councils, right? And the minister went to say he was going to set up a ministerial commission. When it was challenged, they took a president. They went further and even set up a presidential commission for councils. Now, if you add just one of the departments, the entire councils, you add their budget, it's not half of what has been embezzled in one, let's say, one department.
Exactly.
But the government did establish a commission on the local, and we have no problem with that. We want accountability.
Yeah.
But now, like you have said, 1 billion over a period of 3 years.
Exactly.
Nothing has been done.
Nothing.
As we speak, 300 million has been spent on the Independence Stadium. Up to today, auditors said the money, according to the auditors, this money has been mismanaged, and yet we cannot.
Minister Baji is still there comfortably in the good graces of the president. So again, you have the under the portfolio of Ministry of Works, you have all the major discrepancies and missing amount. Under the portfolio of the Ministry of Youth, you have, I mean, there are no functioning. There's no functioning national stadium, much more like stadia at the level of regions or districts. Yet you have this minister in the good graces, in the good, as far as the president is concerned, he's in good standing. You can name a lot of other ministries. Yeah, so here basically, as I always say, the problem and the rot always starts at the very top. The problem and the rot starts at the very top. Because if the president holds his ministers accountable, you don't even have to go to these audit reports. We've seen corruption, mismanagement and questionable behaviors under the Ministry of Industry when Sidikator was there, and he got essentially promoted to the Ministry of Finance, where he is continuing doing even worse things. So when you have a leadership that rewards, basically that rewards such, because essentially you are rewarding it.
For behavior.
When these things are happening and you are not taking any action, and those ministers or people at the level of state-owned enterprises are being promoted to cabinet level positions, people are taken from, you know, regular ministries to more significant ministries. What the president is saying essentially is, I don't care how much of the nation's resources you squander. As long as you support me politically, you can do whatever you want. That's essentially what Adam Barrow is saying in his government.
And not just that. When you see what happened in 2021, Adam Barrow came out in the Assets Declaration before the elections. He told the whole nation that he had over $200 million in his account in the Gambia.
Personal account, yes.
Yes.
That is different from properties.
Exactly. With 9 landed properties and a series of vehicles. For a person who over the 5 years could have earned maximum 30 million, he was paid $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
This is a month.
Yeah.
That's 6 million in a year. 30 million in 5 years.
Assuming you save everything.
Exactly. He can save it because we buy everything for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Assuming he saves all his money, he has 30 million.
Yeah.
How did he get 200 million on his account?
Exactly. Well, the remaining
How
was
did he get all the
70 million.
landed properties?
Yeah.
How did he build Mankabankunda? How did he get all those vehicles? But this is the guy also who went around unabashedly in a 4-wheel drive and said it was given to him by Kalilu Wage, right? We saw all of that on national television. So when the president does that, he tells everybody, you know what? It's a free for all. I'm doing it, you can do it. And everybody does it. And nobody is taken into account for that. So of course, it just trickles down to the very bottom of the whole ladder. And everybody feels that, well, this is the time. Let's go for it.
And this
His wife accepts
gives
over $700,000 in her account. And
Later
they use it
gives-
for travel. Why should that be?
And why is the state putting such a bill for the First Lady's travel?
Exactly.
Why?
Why? And in first class,
Yes.
why do we have to pay for that? She is not a state functionary. She is not in our budget.
the First Lady travels more than the president.
Yes, so why do we have to pay for that? Even Barrow himself recently, I was on TV saying, when you go to Spain for your fundraising, go on your own money or NPP money. But he travels to Spain for fundraising for NPP, a private enterprise, and he goes on state funds. NPP is a private entity.
The Barrow was not there, was it? It was Musa Drame and others.
He said he was going there.
No, he didn't.
He didn't go finally?
It was all the ministers went there. Musa Drame and them by the staff.
Interesting.
So we need to see
Yeah.
whether they went on state resources or
Yeah.
on the NPP budget.
Yeah.
But I,
didn't see that.
I think it's quite interesting that Demba Sabally, if you look at all his, Demba Sabally, the Minister of Agriculture, in the middle of the rainy season, instead of traveling to Nyamina,
Yeah.
finding out what the farmers are going through.
Exactly.
You know, some areas where rain was a bit late, where if you go there, some of the groundnuts just a few weeks ago are still flowering. Or places in URR where their rice fields are not functioning due to mismanagement of resources. Demba Sabally, instead of, as the Minister of Agriculture, instead of going to those areas, he has enough time to go and do. In fact, all
Fundraising in
his
Spain.
pronouncements recently are all political related. He has, his recent announcements, very few of them had anything to do with agriculture. The state of agriculture, the state of agricultural policy or development in general. Demba Sabally, I think for him, his number one job is his role in NPP as a party. His role as a minister is an afterthought. I think sometimes he forgets that he's a
secondary
minister.
thing, yeah.
And this is, okay with the president.
In 2023, the audit reports revealed that 3.8 billion in undisclosed areas across government departments. According to the findings, Office of the President accounted for areas totaling to 17.1 million. Ministry of Agriculture, 13.6 million. Ministry of Basic Education, 3.1. In total, areas worth 34.4 million went unreported.
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 That is the thing. Not just unreported. How many more? How much more was unreported?
Exactly.
And in addition to that, you have all the illegal environments which have been going to the president's office and to other ministries where they're supposed to go. And all of that. That, I'm sure, was not captured in those reports.
Exactly. What is also not captured, what is also not captured here, and our debt is actually significantly underreported. The government always undertakes, these contingent liabilities, taking guarantees. These ones, and if you notice that some of these arrangements have not succeeded, in some countries, guarantees, they are reported on the balance sheet as 1-to-1. If the government guarantees, let's say 100 million, that should be recorded as 100 million in debt.
Yeah.
In some countries, they will just discount it by a certain amount, saying, okay, there is this % chance that it might fail, so we discount it by a certain amount. Our government doesn't even report it.
And as you said, that's contingent liability, which will be hung around our necks. But this government doesn't even bother about that. That's why the central bank can go out and say they gave $100 million to private businesses to import food stuff. And by all accounts, we'll wait to see all those audits come out. By all accounts, it's 200 million, not 100 million that was given out by central bank. This is the government that sat there a couple of days with the IMF and gloating about their performance. And Gambians need to know that ECF, this is something you give to a government that is underperforming. When they have protracted balance of payment issues, that's when you give them the extended credit facility to help them come out of that. ECF is nothing for anybody to gloat about. It means you are underperforming or you're performing poorly. So they give you a medium-term facility to help you grow out of your protracted balance of payment issues. They couldn't even handle that properly. They couldn't come out of it. And they have to give them sustainability facility. That is a longer-term facility. And is exactly for the same reason. We give you the ECF, you couldn't get any substantial headway. So we give you this facility now for sustainability because you are not doing what you're supposed to do.
Wow.
It's an indictment on any government.
It's nothing to celebrate.
No,
we are celebrating that at least we're able to attract that much money. 17 point something.
If I may add on to that, it's actually consider the fact that during the press conference between the IMF representative and the minister. The IMF representatives made a specific point that one of the things that they the government had to do was to make sure that the anti-corruption commission it was set up.
Yeah.
Now I think I mean,
why would he say that?
Why would he say that? If you already, for IMF to actually mention that, made a point of mentioning that as a condition, means that they already know and believe that you have a major corruption problem in your government. I mean, think about if you are going to borrow money from a bank and they have some sort of a condition that says something about you need to basically, have a situation where, that makes so that somebody has to look after you and check everything that you do and monitor you. The point here is, everything that IMF is currently they are dealing with the government shows that the government of the Gambian economy is underperforming significantly. The government stewardship of the economy is very lacking, and the resources are being wasted. Corruption is a huge problem. So IMF report, they won't come out and say these things blatantly. They have to use a certain diplomatic language. Things like, instead of using physical indiscipline, they would use phrases like fiscal slippages. But when you read these reports and you read between the lines, what you will notice is that there is nothing whatsoever to celebrate. It's an absolute indictment of this government's management of the economy. Because a country that's doing very well, IMF will not go and tell you, make sure your anti-corruption commission is working. Wow. They have to believe that corruption is at an unprecedented level in your government before they insist on that.
It looks like the separate... Go ahead.
And I was going to say, in addition to that, they told the central bank to concentrate on its core mandate. Right? You are here distributing forex to people who are not supposed to be doing it. You're supposed to be working on inflation, on tightening monetary policy, on getting the sustaining dalasi. They tell you, well, actually, you can't do that anymore, so make sure that you keep it floating, right? Because you don't have what it takes to defend the dalasi anymore. So concentrate on your core mandate and forget all of this thing of financing enterprises and businesses that you're doing right now. That's not your mandate. That's for the secondary banks. And you don't go about guaranteeing loans for private individuals, particularly for the president's nephew.
Yeah.
That is, the contingent liability is again there for us. So the IMF is telling you, you are getting it all wrong. Concentrate on those core mandates of yours and forget the others.
Wow.
So all of these things, if you don't know the language, you probably think that is, but if you're used to that language, you've been working in those things, you know this is an indictment. Ousman said it means the corruption is festering, and you have to get rid of that. The misuse of the funds is festering. The central bank is depleting our reserves by giving that money to other people who are not entitled to it from the central bank. And it's increasing our contingent liability, and the dollar is depreciating. So these are the things the IMF was saying.
Yeah.
But for the ordinary Gambian, you wouldn't hear that behind. But that is what they're saying.
I saw the story and I'm thinking, well, it looks like we're doing good. Because the IMF is giving us more money.
Opposite.
They are not giving it. It's a
giving
credit facility. Credit
facility. Yeah.
Credit is. It's not a gift.
It's not a gift.
It's a loan.
It's a loan.
And to help you to perform.
Talking about central bank, the auditor said they have revealed that the central bank, where's the central bank? I think it says the central. Let's look at first the mega bank. You guys have spoken about mega bank, I think more than 100 times. It looks like you guys have vindicated.
I've been speaking about
everything that has been said about the mega bank.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Auditors are telling us over $24 million of the sales received from KH Holdings on the 31st was not disclosed in the government financial statement. 24 million plus. Not disclosed. And we still went to bed and slept and woke up the following morning and ate our breakfast and went to work and everything is normal.
For a bank that was seriously undervalued before it was sold.
And sold to as an associate of the president.
Yes.
And when the finance minister was asked on national TV, he said he has no idea. I mean, not national TV, national radio, I guess. On a national program, he looked the whole nation in the eye and said he has no clue. Which was not true, because you cannot tell me you are the Minister of Finance and you have no idea who
bought that bank.
That bank.
And I took him to task on that. Say, if you do not do your due diligence on the sale of that bank, how do you know you're not selling it to a drug dealer?
A drug dealer.
How do you selling it to somebody who's going to do money laundering or financing terrorism? How do you know that?
Exactly.
But that bank was seriously undervalued before it was sold. This is a bank they bought for $900 million in 2014. And 9 years later, in 2023, they sold it for the same $900 million.
And in the independent period,
the depreciation of the dalasi alone took off at least a third of the value of that $900 million. In addition to that, this is a bank you recapitalized. You brought in good staff from the central bank, for that matter. You put in all the facilities, new structures, new ATMs, etc. It was functioning properly. So where is that added value? Who got all of that? Somebody working with huge capital gains on that. That bank minimum was worth $2.5 billion. They sold it off for $900 million. And even part of that was underreported and couldn't be found.
24 million plus was not disclosed in our statement.
Even more intriguing, this is the bank that gave the president's nephew $900 million loan. And coincidentally, the bank was sold for $900 million. Should we be reading something here? Should we be reading something here?
It's strange.
Strange.
This is the bank that went under because of bad debt. Keystone went under because of bad debt. That's why it failed and had to be bought and saved. And you do exactly the same things again.
The same individuals who had loans, bad loans under that bank, you went and selected those same individuals
Exactly.
to get a loan on the mega bank.
Exactly.
You know,
Astounding.
and the same minister went on national TV yesterday again saying something like, yeah, well, they only had to go by the name they saw. They couldn't do due diligence. How can you say that you couldn't do due diligence when you are having a national program? It's something conceived by the government. You said you wanted to facilitate the importation of essential goods. You want to have a pilot, select a few Gambian businessmen. The least you could do is to do diligence and do proper stewardship of national resources.
Well, the minister said he was on the brunch. And I think even after that, I spoke to him about this. What the minister said was, they didn't even know it was the president's nephew. They didn't even know. But even that,
That's an indictment on him.
He said, but this guy took a risk and took over $15 million that somebody took, and he was willing to pay for that. So if they didn't take that risk of taking that $15 million, that debt would have been there. That's one
If
of
the
the things he
Minister
said.
of Finance doesn't know who is behind the transaction, he needs to be fired.
Yeah.
He needs to be fired.
In any other serious country, just saying that you should embarrass you and you should resign as a minister. The fact that CD Keita is still a minister, you know, and still representing the country in such an important portfolio, you know, it beggars belief.
Why?
I mean, because of this sheer incompetence.
Yeah.
Basically, for the minister to say, you know, here we are, a program we set up worth millions of dollars. We conceive of the project, and the enterprise that is coming in, we didn't do basic due diligence to find out the individuals who are the beneficial owners of the company. Just as in the case of the mega bank, what about the people who are coming, if they were criminals, if they were drug dealers who are trying to engage in money laundering? How, you know, don't you have a responsibility to make sure that people or businesses that are partaking in a government-run scheme are fully vetted?
Whose role is that? Is it the bank or the ministry? Who vets these people?
But in this case, when the bank actually went through and looked at the owners, the shareholders of of Win-Win, they found out, first of all, the amount that the bank was asked to cover, breached some prudential limits.
Okay.
So the matter went to the central bank. The first vice president gave an opinion that this wasn't appropriate. Yet they still went ahead and gave the okay.
Exactly.
The commercial bank even had reservations about one of the individuals in this transaction. But it was the Ministry of Interior at the time, which was headed by CD Keita, that said,
Trade.
Ministry of Industry and Trade,
Yes.
who said that they want these selected businesses to be given the facility. Yeah. They insisted.
Yeah.
If you are going to insist, you have a burden to make sure that those businesses you select, you know, they meet certain criteria. You do your due diligence. You do background checks, not only on the corporate entities, but the individuals that created that. You do the necessary, risk assessment. The failure to do that, even if it turns out those people are 100% clean, but the failure to do that alone should merit firing. It means you didn't do your basic duty as you should.
Somebody
And
said,
if he didn't do that, how did he insist that these people should get it?
Exactly.
How did he insist? How did he know that those people should get it? It means they're not telling us the truth. He did at least some perfunctory analysis and assessment, and they knew who was behind, but they needed to support those people for political reasons and other reasons. That's why they gave it to them. Otherwise, why would he be insisting that that person get that
And
group,
why would all of
get
a
it?
sudden, of all the people who can come and bail out Win-Win, how come all of a sudden it is JV, one of whose shareholders is the president's nephew? What are the chances of that happening randomly?
Yeah.
You know, basically we are being asked to suspend. You know, I mean, it's like almost this government is insulting the intelligence of
Exactly.
Gambians.
so is it wrong? And the argument you see from the NPP people and officials is that, yes, Amadou is the president's nephew, but he's also a Gambian and he's a businessman. if he can deliver to help his uncle's dreams of making commodities affordable in the country, what is wrong in that?
If anything, because he's the president's nephew, there should be even more stringent controls on him. Because people are not just the appearance of impropriety. In this sort of things, you've got to do the right thing and be seen to do the right thing. So because he's the president's nephew, to avoid even the semblance of impropriety, he should have been seriously vetted and controlled. Anybody who is controlled should have been less controlled and assessed than Amadou Sane.
Exactly.
But no. He was given a pass. Why is it that this government just does it in our face and walks away with it, and they don't have any qualms? They turn around and look at us. Oh, no, it's okay. He's a Gambian. Yes, he's a Gambian. But why didn't they give it to Mr. Mbai or Mr. Jan or Mr. Manneh somewhere?
Exactly.
Why did they have to give it to Mr. Sane because he's the president's nephew? And you think that's okay? That's the lack of transparency and the impunity that we're talking about.
Favorism. Because,
And the thing actually, what surprised me was what the minister, Sidiketa, was saying yesterday, that, this was a pilot, and because of a pilot, they couldn't come and announce it to the public.
Open it, yeah.
I
think they said the idea came from Rahma Food.
Yeah. This is it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
First of all, it's, it just shows how incompetent, this Mr. Keita is, Sidi Keita is. Yeah. First of all, to say something as a pilot, all it tells you is that you are starting something on a small scale before you expand on a larger scale. That says nothing about how you select the beneficiaries or the participants. In fact, because you are trying to do it on a pilot, you want to learn the appropriate lessons from it, which means every step of that process needs to be carefully thought and well executed. Which means the people, you need to make sure that process is open to every eligible businessman. Why must it be done in secrecy? So that those who are selected, that pilot, you are selecting those people based on their business acumen, their ability to meet the requirements. Because there are many Gambians that are importing rice, and they've been importing it without any assistance from the government.
Exactly.
If you are going to do a pilot, and something, your goal is about helping facilitate access of Gambians to affordable goods, why does it have to be in secrecy? Why not open the selection process in an objective way?
Because that is where you need to, as you said, the pilot should be what will determine what's coming next.
Yeah.
So you do that very well. Yes. So whatever mistakes there are, you can correct them for the next phase.
It looks like the pilot has failed, though, because the objective was to make commodities affordable.
Yes.
Yeah.
The objective was to sell rice.
Officially.
The rice was supposed to be sold at what, 1,000 something?
Well, what has happened to it?
And that has, it looks like the pilot has failed.
Of course.
But Minister said this was no cost to the Gambia government because they have not they only give them a credit facility, LCO or something, a letter, and the Gambia government did not incur any cost in this whole thing, so the government has not lost anything.
But this is blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
Because your role as a government is what? To help improve affordability, improve economic, improve the lives of Gambians by reducing the cost of basic commodities. If you started a project with the goal of reducing, increasing the affordability or reducing the price, and you fail woefully, and shouldn't there be a cost to that? And your goal was to reduce price, and what happened during that intervening period? The price actually went up. During that time, food price inflation went over 20%, higher than any point in the history of the country. You failed woefully. That failure is a significant cost. It's a significant cost to the Gambian people. But the fact that he is going out and saying that is actually not a failure just shows again, as I want to emphasize, every Gambian should know without a shred of doubt, Sidi Keita is woefully very, very incompetent. He has no clue. Even when he was talking about taxation yesterday, CDK doesn't understand taxation.
Exactly.
Doesn't understand tax incidents, doesn't understand tax liability.
Yeah.
CDK doesn't understand trade finance. I have written a lot of trade finance report for the World Bank, for African Development Bank, for the World Trade Organization. I've worked in trade finance. The first report on empirical report on trade finance in Africa, I authored it 10 years ago. I can tell you, based on my expertise in trade finance, that CDK is very, very poorly versed in trade finance. You know, CDK was trying to lecture a journalist about taxation, and he was actually betraying his own ignorance on TV.
Exactly.
So when I say CDK is incompetent, I am being very, very diplomatic.
and very kind. And you know what's even more painful is that CDK was saying that in front of the IMF representative who was sitting there, listening to his incompetence being given to all of us on national television. You look at that lady's body language, you saw the embarrassment. And this lady is sitting there, looking at this incompetent minister, telling us things that are not true at all, and she would be wondering, if I were her, what else are they telling me that's not true? What else are they telling me that's out of... This lady, I'm sure, and her team will be watching very closely reports coming out of the Gambia now, because they have seen the minister's incompetence displayed on national television in front of her. These are people who came to tell you are performing poorly, you are corrupt, and we need to help you to get out of that, and you display your incompetence so blatantly in her presence, embarrassing the whole nation. And going there, trying to lecture Mustafa Swandi Dabo, who did such a wonderful work in the Republic, and thought he was humiliating that guy. Instead, he was just humiliating himself. I mean, I just sat there, I was like, is this a nightmare we're watching on national television? And he was so proud about it, and he started looking around for approval and for endorsement from other people. You know, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what's the matter with this man? And unfortunately, his boss, who could have seen that and said, this guy needs to be fired today, doesn't understand a thing about it all. Barrow doesn't understand a thing about that. So of course, CDK can come and gloat and tell us things that are totally different from the reality, and walk away smiling and full of himself and proud, when he has embarrassed the whole of the Gambia in front of the world. And no consequences. This is the government we have. And the same thing I heard Ibrahim Silla say, the same sort of, oh God, on Peter Gomez's coffee time. I was there, I was like,
basically, Ibrahim Silla and Syndicata are, from my reading of what is happening over the past couple of days, they are basically now on a, it seems like these two ministers are now spearheading a government strategy of muddying the water.
Yeah.
You know, Ibrahim Silla's ministry came out with this press release that tried to dispute some findings from the audit report. Yes, and you know, one of the most damning reports ever against the government was the report done by Mustafa Dabo's newspaper. You know, both in the Russian oil scandal and also in this JV win-win case. So it seems that their strategy now is to muddy the waters. They are not bringing any evidence here or making any well-substantiated arguments here. Basically, they just want to muddy the waters so that people, people don't know what is happening. Because, as he pointed out here, these ministries had ample opportunities to do a good faith clarification in any audit exercise. As I pointed out in my article recently, the process is clear. I mean, you have ample opportunities to do that. The last thing anybody, any ministry should even think of doing is, years after the audit report, to try to have a press release trying to explain, something that you should have clarified.
Because the auditors give you that opportunity.
You give them at least 3 opportunities.
Yes.
One, during the process, the auditors will be there on site, and you will have ample opportunities to meet them. When they are leaving, finally, there will be something called an exit interview.
Yeah.
You have management there would have an opportunity to sit with them. And then after the draft is shared, you have an opportunity for management response.
Exactly.
This is multiple opportunities. And the fact that they are doing this now instead of then is that if you raise anything up, the auditors will go and check it very carefully. You need to be able to stand behind whatever objection or issues you want to bring up. But if you do it in a press release, you don't even, you just send it to the newspaper.
You're not addressing the auditors, but you're addressing the public.
The public. Trying to avoid the order.
Yeah,
And the public who's not very versed in those things. And that is why it's important for us to come out and say these things, because they're trying to sell hot air to the Gambian public. Exactly. People who don't know those details. When they say, oh, okay, so maybe nothing wrong happened. The minister said this, he said that. But it's not true.
It's not true.
And, I was sitting there listening to the Prime Minister. They said, oh, wait, by the way, actually, instead of auditors, they probably should have gone to the field and check on the road works and see what was done. I said, are you kidding me? That's your job as the minister. You're supposed to do that and bring the documentation and give it to the auditors. It's not for the auditors to go to the field to check whether they built the road or not. That is your job. But these guys, that is the thing. They will tell you this and look you in the face and try to spin. So that is why it's important for us to come out and tell the Gambians what is happening. What this government is doing to our country, our economy, every Gambian's life. We need to say this, because otherwise, as Ousman is saying, they'll muddy the waters and you think, oh, it's okay, maybe it's not no big deal.
No big deal, yeah. Now, one thing that was really concerning for me, the central banks overlooks all these banks, right? So if the banks have issues, it is the central bank that will, tell them supervision and all that. But the auditors are saying the central bank itself transferred 23-point-something million of this undisclosed amount was transferred by the central bank directly to accounts at the Guaranteed Trust Bank, bypassing the Consolidated Revenue Fund, CRF, at the Treasury main account. And they're the ones who are supposed to penalize all these banks if they do any wrongdoing.
Exactly.
If they are doing something like this, what is that supposed to mean?
The road starts on the top. If the central bank, that's the banking supervision department, which is supposed to set the standard and to supervise those banks, is involved in wrongdoing itself. It would happen elsewhere. Exactly. And these are the people who were blaming Ecobank, Access Bank, for their involvement in Russian oil scandal. When they are the ones supervising those banks, when what was happening, where were they? What were they doing? Sleeping on the job. So those banks were definitely guilty of some wrongdoing. But central bank was also derelict in duty. They should have detected, they should have seen that.
In many of these institutions, in fact, the middle management will be trying their best, trying to do the work.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the supervision department probably, they're probably trying to do their best working there. But a lot of these problems happen from the very top in many of these institutions. So in the central bank, instead of even focusing on the supervision department, I'm sure the moving of these funds, these will be things that will start from
Mr.
the
Manneh's
very
mic.
top.
Yeah, okay.
That will start at the very top. So the questions to me should be, I won't even ask these questions at the level of supervision. I'll ask them at the level of SEDI's office. This is where these problems occur in these institutions. Yeah, this leadership. Just like in the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry. If you were to ask some of these at the level of directors, probably they are doing their best to try to keep things working. These rot and wrongdoings, they always originate from the very top. Yeah, which is why I have a I've been sounding the alarm about these MPC reports. Because the tone and everything that is, the headline things that are, these are all things that are, directed from the very top to try to portray a certain, narrative that is not supported by the real data that is in the, the MPC report itself.
Yeah. The minister, though, in all of these audit reports, just like you said, the minister's statement was this. He said,
Which minister?
Ibrahim Asila.
Yes.
Obviously, he has questioned starting he said audit reports do not necessarily mean it's a Bible or a Quran. Yeah. He said they too can have it wrong. The minister also said the Minister of Works and Infrastructure has strongly rejected findings from the Auditor General's representatives in the road construction contract in North Bank region, describing the report as grossly misleading and
blatantly false.
Blatantly false.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what Minister Silla is doing is echoing his boss, who already mentioned years earlier that audit reports are mere opinions. You know, Minister Silla, first of all, hasn't, you know, if he were a capable and a competent minister who cares about things being done correctly in his ministry, if you see an audit report, a body that is not run by the opposition, that is part of the government, that has a primary role of ensuring accountability. Your first thing to do as a minister should be express concern and make sure that that issue is looked at. He's in no position right now to determine that that is false. I mean, the release of those reports are now, for me, it's not possible for the ministry to investigate itself.
Yeah.
A government that is, you know, that is not corrupt, a government that is competent, a government that is working for the Gambian people will not have a minister that is giving this kind of comment. So Mr. Silla here is taking his cue from his president, from his boss, and it's not surprising. I mean, if all one has to do is just go and visit these roads and look at the quality. Building a road is not just putting asphalt, pouring on asphalt on the ground. There are quality standards. You go to Brufut, you go on this Bertil Harding Highway, you see the substandard work. You see work that is being done and, you know, being dug again. We've seen that all over. The quality of the work shows that the leadership in this ministry, you know, in this case, Mr. Silla himself is very wanting. And the fact that he's not concerned about corruption means the problem starts at the very top.
Yeah.
You want to solve this problem, you have to start looking at starting from the minister himself. If his first comments here is not to actually ensure that there is a digging of it, clearing of this issue, then he is part of the problem. We shouldn't be listening to what Mr. Silla is saying. He's part of the problem.
He is part of the problem because when the minister tells you the report is grossly misleading and blatantly false, when he had the opportunity to put that to the auditors and to rectify the report, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
The report comes out and is adversely mentioning him and his ministry. Now you come out and tell us it's grossly misleading and blatantly false. If that is true, why don't you give them the evidence?
Yeah.
If you have that evidence, why don't you give it? Because it's not there. He's just spinning, and that's all. It's not true what he's saying.
And that is worrying.
True.
Yeah.
When we were telling everybody that Bertil Harding and the OIC roads are poorly done, substandard, overpriced,
and expensive, yes, you said
and it's going to cost us money,
yeah,
they're already digging. From Steen Corner, when you come from Banjul, Steen Corner, just the road that goes towards Radio Gambia, they're digging about a 50-meter stretch already. They've dug it all up and are laying concrete. So less than a year or so after, they're already digging the road and redoing it. And we were saying that all along. This road is substandard, it's poorly done. The base and sub-base of that road is poorly done. And when it starts sagging, the whole top surface will break. And he said, oh no, we did double what? It's what's underneath that counts. And there's a road that he said cost us $6.2 million per kilometer instead of one.
Yeah.
And they got more money to make it even more expensive. $45 million extra to raise it from $150 million to $204 million. But we don't even have pedestrian crossings.
Yeah.
We don't have gutters to carry the water for drainage. People's houses are getting flooded all over the place. You take yesterday I was driving on Kairaba Avenue, just where the old OIC was, OIC former office. It's like a river. And there's a new road that cuts across it, that they did. That new road, that place, it was a sunken part. Just before the Alliance Française, it was flooded. So all of these roads are getting flooded because of the poor design, poor drainage facilities, and substandard work. And I kept saying this. These roads are going to be a white elephant for us. It's going to cost us so much money in terms of repairs, in terms of maintenance. And yet we still have to pay back those loans. Even before we start paying for them, we are paying for maintenance. So, and nobody's being called to book for that. This is the attitude of this government. So they think they can spin anything. And they say, oh, what people think about us, we don't care, we won't budge.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
And that, for me, that is what is more concerning. When public officials tell us, social media, but you know what I tell them? Look, you're not going to be here forever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Amita nyawnya jawara sanji tansa balake jang atatale. Jamme sanji morning fulale ke jang atatale. Hani baro sanji kemele ke jang abitale. And then the accountability was sotolale. So for them to know that, what abikilale. So amita nyawnya. Next door, Senegal, Macky Sall brother Hainang right now, he's facing the full judiciary. Investigation. He's facing them right now. His brother-in-law was in jail for how many months? Ala jalo hainang. Wala kafu mole ko miumin diata aba kelele. Majambal jany haina dingonala musobe jail ate porta atara France.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you tell us you can do anything because you are in power, remember the day of accountability is going to come.
Yeah.
And they tell us this, and I tell people, look, let's put it on record.
Yeah.
Let's put it on record. As long as they keep telling us, adiyate to le bakela, alang ngafo ngafintindi, banku dingole ay. Sto ma lungo besila.
Makika muna funa kunga no kongole laka.
Yeah.
Audit report it fintila.
Yeah, but kabata.
Muna kita bi.
Wala fintita ten.
Wala fintita.
Nino ka feo fenke to ten investigate. Ye min tara nunje. E ko wala diam.
Exactly. Report min bije. Ye min kenu. It will report ko follow de.
Yeah.
Ye report min taje ka wala implement.
E ko wala investigate.
Be borka be banko bulale ta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Milvije and do say arrest warrant like Maskadi, Majambal Jang is arrested in France.
Yeah.
Ibas Malana,
arrest warrant, you always swear. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what
so, near Fenke.
So,
is
gonna catch Senegal,
yeah.
New min Karandi. Ita Karana Kote. Macky Sall Haina Bortabe Sirin Damet Haina Solo Senegal.
No.
Alam Sotina, Digotina.
No.
Alam Milvije, Bebe Borkol to Qatar. Be Senegal, me nintul fata. I'm for back because we have the financial intelligence unit.
Yeah.
But Senegal, they have the CENTIF.
Any transaction.
Financial Information Control Center.
Yep.
Any transaction beyond 5 million CFA in your account, CENTIF, the banks are required to report it to CENTIF.
Yeah.
And CENTIF will check where did this money come from. They will write to you.
Yeah.
There's a transaction of $5 million CFA on your account. Where did the money come from? Can you justify it? If you justify it, fine, it goes. If it's a legitimate earning, a legitimate transaction, fine. Otherwise, you're called to book. And CENTIF is uncovering so much. And the other thing about J is that these small opaque banks that have been set along the side, like Aura Bank and all that stuff, all the financial transactions Katani Walela, Urikana account, because they're a Societe Generale or the other places, you have somebody who knows Minister Kari or put in the position, they will probably tell them. So they set up these small banks, opaque banks, that's where all the laundering was happening. And that's what worries me here. Because Mega Bank has been sold to somebody, Mamina Kulong. Malong, who is he? What is he up to? And be a number of companies coming from abroad are establishing here are working with Mega Bank. Is it going to be another money laundering enterprise? Is it going to be another place where wrong financial activities are going to take place? Time will tell.
Yeah.
But we will be watching.
We'll be watching.
Yeah.
As we always remember, Baroko National Audit Reports are just opinions. Mere opinions, Ibrahim Silako, they are not the Bible or the Quran.
Yeah.
So we will always remember this because these are very important things to remember.
Exactly.
And also, it just worries me, an office like the National Audit Office, very independent, wala doko, Nico is not the Bible or the Quran. Just years after, like you even had the opportunity to respond, but be like Tole, what are you doing? The credibility of the office, if call a question. And I think that is very worrying.
Mol na te ko ngela ila office nga konti bole. Ngani problem wala jije. Ito mi secondary, iba fala audit report din. Yela mol ko man mune kerinja mune kata nyim ko kata nyaade mune kata je nyini karo ke ya find out. Nim kuru yala kata je ya tilid. Baitema of wake up, manke Alquran, manke Bible, manke.
Hani State House, Yakumol for Jilla, but I'm thinking you're for the Barita Binafintile, Kumol for Kamol.
I did mad be, I want to show soon, while I put to Yakaja. You go, hey, Alabula Kanabatan, the Dinka Kana Tokuya. Instead of hearing one day, I see a Monaketa.
You have to Tonya like Osipal.
Yeah.
Ni do not take quick wedding or have beer soon. You're looking to what I want to do a little bit. You can't come and there in the Nakaja Monaketa. You can do for Monaketa in Nakaja. But Nimo, okay, you can't find a tire problem to you.
Yeah.
Someone that I don't far from Italy and Italy push.
Yeah.
You know? So this is what you take like Banco Kang. Minister Yanta what a killer. Yera Mol Commandco report someone, Yera Modisi.
Yeah.
Niko, I mean, Niko audit report or opinion damba. All the prosecution milkatra Mansakunda. Because prosecution milka, is charged with crime la. Woman ke judgment iko. Judge lekana wala ka kiti okay. Aya kuntu. So prosecution wala kana waka accusation land waka charge nila. So neither ko fenkol auditors wala report is mere opinion. Abuko do ning the office of the the ning prosecution nyoltare mo arrest. Ye hani evidence do. Masakunda okay nyanta follow be there's a mere opinion.
Oh, auditor reptano. Dr. Okoego nte lajinde ngamira is the beginning of diabetes, is the beginning of that. It's a medical opinion. Opinion nte kukaleta isiete. Barak na boro dikata boro sanne yamin.
Yeah, because Dr. Oka mimfo ani ni molo rasiloka mi alon ka manfe la yafo ya manke kilinti. Ni molo rasiloka ko Ministry of Works alayim ko dole tafal alman aliatinya. What is different from auditors mi alon ko government ye sindi ye nyile la do koti ye mo soto jele mi alon ko nyile la karangoti. Ni wol theta wol manta dogo ka wol manta opposition ye Masakunda le wol sindi ye
Exactly.
wol partisan sympathy le do kudo ni wol theta ko nyile tinyata la ministry fen ko nyanda silele la
Wole minfo.
ne atra ita hakilo be tonyalto
Yente la mola wala. Okuma ta sa ngana politiko to demande. Political. So I can't believe I have two politicians. My favorite analysts all turn to politicians. Can you imagine? What's I will be a politician already?
Bankole onyenenka. Yalo ning inna te sita eko ante dati ye bulu tan fulo la ke sita yela time enjoy. Kuruya min be banta. Better la soko no.
Tonyalo.
Andi kala mo ko karñu le tiñaroke ning a tarete ko na haji tije o tek tiñaro min ka amete dawunde amé batande
Tonyalo.
I sonta le tiñaro eke ni man pare o tiñaro ke man songada fana me fintele yeda ke loto pour que toña sabatinde banko ka lafta wala Ousman ninte be nimma la fedun nanu se sira ngabul tan fulo kan ngana ko do enjoy
Tonyalo.
bari hani nyim banko le hati Ntul be kata minti bi nyim banko le enkati mo famata kara molo no idam may pour karanje mo dam famata silo dano pour dam makamboro silo ke kata do ko wala fonko wala luptano loy hani banko le o be kenyi banko le kara molo karata dami luptano lo kan jara dami e silo ke ko borbi ko ta dami tol so banko le yento fanan ni be ken kata minti bi alhamdulillah na xamoñu tak la munati sama banku ding to mal fanan no ndul kam min soto o fanan ya soto no ni o soto multa back wela
Yeah.
crime sitala drug ma sitala kuru ya façon be sitala but ni ma woke ni mo sita konkota man do boro soto hani 5 meter wolo le so dundo do lu de kan
ha
na fere ke wakanake yeah
okay doke Gajigo when need the political kon that's the big question.
Yeah. I mean for Jandro, you know, ni mo konte ko politique ibe dunda je sanje dan koma. Mba fula ko hani.
Yeah.
Because ngaku jamal so don sidun no dame. Sim fan na fan ko dame. Ha. Bar ni sida banko kanja yaje banko bita kan silo la mialon ko manta you know abita kan nyamen del bela mantoro le bije.
Yeah.
Adu ite yalo ite isi fenke no woto. Pour banko di ya min nyininka ye wuli ye fenke je. Yeah. Politics manke you know amanke komi ye dun do ka politics diata nga dunje min nyande ke wulinde ka dum politique kono wala isi muna keno la banko e ha nta man dum politique kono kata fe nyininje ay kuma ya ko nyamente amanke place ni no len dundije amanke mansakunda you know do kule duni politics kono ni adente be dunna politics kono hani sa ni mo fa ko politics no konka parale demanding
I know
because hakilo ne man tarajeli
yeah
bari bi ni lafta ka kuke mansakunda nyaton ko min bije ni o bije nyaton ko bije ni wala duko kela mbesi dum le mansakunda dula roto nga duko ke mansakunda
yeah
bari bi ni nyaton ko min bije o man tala duko ke ka anyama hani yake ministality tete fenne kenola
yeah
because ni dun taje ibe nolal wara ni man la fi nolay te fen kenola because ni ko be putli no kala je ibe fintila so ñi mansakunda be ñamen hani ye ministre ya lulle place ya bete ya dinna you know mpatala le because nte na faso la ji ko stiñaro min ñi politique pour ya bete ni molla min biye abe dula be
but fete dunno la je ta e ma koy roke at least ni tata Mansakunda join ye ideas fresh ideas nati president o ya sembentu ya pour banko la ñato da instead of kata ye fansun talon
nga wala foye ni president soto mialon ka mantra banko president mialon aka lo aka fo audit report me opinion o president o man la fi Sénégal atral Mansakunda to ministre president mialon ko ministal ye you know moli audit report ya ngitande ko nyile tinyaro kele amanke kilinte amanke fulate amanke sabati ibebe sirinje hani sign wol fe manke wol o president o man la fi fenkola ko agriculture national kodo min botanan World Bank kabo UN agencies kabo African Development Bank min nata de sene bunda min tiata ni Mansakunda anin scientema billions of dollars split o president buka sile fam ka nyinin karo ke o kodo atara muntola dunta muntole so president nde what kabidi botanan 2017 tanin minister anin permanent secretary do diam be lo ko wotumo malo je Mansakunda Mansakunda tole ndatan koy ko ndeni Mansakunda flatan nga do ko dawda be dun najila bari mansula jona ni la tantala as advice o ministry am available koy ko bari mansula jona hani bi man commande
yeah
bari ka bere wati sida you know
kabi critical
yeah kabi ya ka dia misaje pol ba play be ko la ministre do ben commande le ba fola ko ngana nga kacha bari lafta pendole fule ko na lafta ka pendo foni ala fonni molbe ya moy e kanam commande private meeting to o telephone to o ngata si office to ndamanta place ni wala man sula fenna dala lo ngata ke kan to nyalem al ngata alta si ali ya ko banko be ya moy you know so ne president soto Mansakunda to miyalon ko abuko Adama Barrow miyalon ko tinyaro be kan ala Mansakunda to molla ino woy mol so je mel ko bit am mol fo be yalo ni tinyaro ke kan momil ko min Sidi Ndiaye yol sifata yol sindi momil ko Mamadou Sabal ñol yol ke advice o president mo laf ñaato tala o president sifa hani yake ministre ni nata o tinyaro min bije su ñaro min be Mansakunda ibe tala ye kafuikan ini yesu nyaroke wara ni ta man la folete be sila je effective la os ni ko be ku kala mela ko tilinda ite sonne taraje ni audito do ba bondam nyata ko ni kala mun ne be nyin audito general do bonde kan so nyin min si Gambia ma ko no min sintel sambano nyaato jang wala nyin Mansakunda e fale adu na falinta nyanta silale nga mira ninga adam baro bondije kelo manda wala de be min sindila je fana nyanta kala moti melon ko min kita na nyim past 10 years akana fulan jam kota so wala na nyanta silale nga hakilo to bake adam baro ka bondi dron kelo manda wala
and it looks like that was the mistake nga min kenu in 2017
exactly
nga baro mbe hawjirin ka jamme bondi bari na bota mbe kela nyami man at that point mawo jube akanta ko nyindo nalbe ni atol politician on nalbe wokela alkana fo nga baro da ma bondi de ni baro bota mbe jumala sindila je anim fanan at the aftermath of that wokumayat
because milbe to mbondro kela manke politician oti milbe to mbondro kela wolentel gambe nol ndela nyanta kasi nga fo ko nimbe falindro kela amanke ka mo bondi don office nimbe falindro kela falindro minti min keta akana fulanja rek ngan si nga mira komi munati na adam baro la nyi masa bunda manta no wanyam ni sanyi tango be enta min kele make mole ya mira nyanta min sola maso so nimbe mo tombo na sai nga si nga mira nga jube nkana jube don komi be adam baro mba bondi la je mba jubele nga korosi ninga adam boro bondi je fana mimbe sila je mi ya lon ko doko nyi aya lon ne munen dokoti aya lon do soto aya hammo soto adunga ya fero fana soto hana tilim yes nyanta sila wala bar wo manke politician non lebe sila ba wolle be lola mol nyaar ya desi keno bari tel gambe non le nyanta sila nga mira wala nga jube mil bebe lola nga jube kono nge korosi amanke do be lola e min fode mbela background le jubela
ani la record
ila record e minke amanke drone ko min nen dia siata politician kono so e buke la moy ka min fu e baranya ila character ila track record e min beke e ko may bol sile wala koros because banko la nyaruta kuma ya battle sanji lulu manke time sutungote sanji time manke time sutungote nyin sanji taw min beke tantel fota wala le because gamben si nyaruta min sutuno nyin sanji taw kono ni woketa nyama bimbe kacha min nante lawo
kono
ango sanji taw fo mam fo fay murundi komale adama barola siyo na min xamenu adam baro mbato bo dala ni wonte nga min xamenu nga min ferol mi landino Gambia jamela ta ni adam baro yo kenu min fala wonte nyi par adam baro le Gambia jamta adam baro le wulta moli bi kelo ke pour ka sin ni banko kanka banko do ku ay wala damfu atata sidi njayni Fabakar Tombo njata ni sita ko kay ko ini min do ko ne bay ni bay to be ma ko la jam fa ko ma sawtu mo banko parce que tinya wato de ka to ni wonte bi adam baro na ta sita moli xamo mi soto Gambia ma ko min nata jang yakilo ba kanum bi adam baro ni Ousainou Dabo ni Amadou Sane tata Brussels 1.45 billion euros e wala pledge euro million wuli killing million kemenane anin tallu bantala ban ko fu ko ba dira Gambia pour nga do ko ka ni o dun tanu Gambia jam adu ko ka nyama be bi fala bi wonte wote but aran baro tilimbaliya an ngam ngol katanda fanna o sidi njanyolu Fabakar Tombo njata an ya jamela mo ko mi be ya jabe ma koy al ko tan dia fanna wala ka do ku nyolde wala na ko do mi nyata la man na ko teke o ko do min du tajaman million ki menano aussi
min paran nata fanan atinyata dama ko kilim fo e senola bundala sate do bi de wulle ka e ka fo je ko limbambul anata lo bembul bina ati ko tabel ka yitan lim molla ADB e million jamala nati pour wala farol e doku musate jamal ti je wulli west wol denta faro ila faro nyin over 50 hectares 1 kilometer by 500 meters wol Chinese on la waro men kabika jeel dema wol kas je mano sene bakel so 2017 ADB a project ko nati rice value chain oyo ko etaye e wol mako ye je doku pour samatil kande wol si mano doku ko min jahal pachar o ko do munekata etata contrat ko di président la $10 we wala faro tinya nundo e kamin sene sai hana talento ko e buka sene amma yewon samba komale milyalon e kamin sene nundo Sign from talento ko bukasene bi ndata fo la farodo nyin sama kono 1 kilometer by 500 meters e ka beje abe farin jiol la nyamo damal bije la tonkon din clean bije be ko ba Senegal because ye contrat ko dimi na ma do ko no ay dula nyin tala yatinya ay million nyin be dunda ci fo kono itata ngel ila bunyangol lo momil be bolon kono wolbe bata min kono wala bata kafu kodo min nate itama wol samba nyaado hadi ye ibe dame metu je fam ye sayndi ko so nyin sifale siyata jam so la gadno la kar wala fanan kodo min nyanta na la kadu wala gadno te banda gambe jam min la jobe mankeri iman sansan wol soto iman turol soto ibe la fengol mabula dame ma soto kodol kanajen projet kodol kanya be ka domo fa projet kol ka bang kabin aran baro site anin science ma kodo min nar pour muso la gadno dama tambita million kemel wo million dantan dron gadno garin be gambia jang isa sansan ne jio kije ye ko so kijande bar million keme a kodo min nyata dunda gadino to horticultural activities atata le kabin 2017 anin science ma gadno mil sa fo ko delanga jio so to fa en si gambia amansia gadno be jande idara jara sutukun wol gadnol be bulle ni ko nun jarankol ni gadnol sate man tambe jara sutukun bari bi hani garin tije ila sansan boyta ila pompol tinyata mo fomil dokida de e sansan so ila ko ranko no ka gadnol kijele adu nyin sifade bandi ni dada jara japini jil fanan bijel hani sato milie bo holol soto bo holo bu kesi ni te ya jibon bi sam bu ka jibon because nyanta adila dolla sindi nete ba jibon na ko mu fenede mi alon ko somanda wula ra nyanta ka jusu so ay min fo jan toñale ko do fo min nyanta na asiyata le bari kabri yaje mansa kunda bita kan nyame because ni alon ni nga fendi mola ba kasara lale yake bulo tala bari de man do min fo futata jam wala fa kasarata
yes and wala fa kasaro kola min nyanta kala banko kan mol gabenol takorta men ko be nyene kala adam baro ya kodi wala be mol samana mi ya lonko ulu ima do ko no ima sobe ya soto ima hamo soto ima man kuto soto wolle ba febi aussi agriculture for kodi nawek 2017 ni bitema over mi do da $7 million kemenanity min to nawek bile na kula ko ko edi nga salolo nga Gambia sola Senegambia bridge o yenda ko dum la yem balala ya tayle na poro mi nga do kun na kodola ko dum nyata dun naje pato bena captain sala yol biya ni ndo poro ko dum du sawo sang o beti nyata sang ya ta ya di alberak man fenke je na ma management change ifa ko dum taje e ko le ko dum sori san na le keme soto al tan seyta le mu wandin tol fangol la fewme ngadu comme tira bungu do ku ila bungu lo foye bandi ya di agent le kaka luwasi ni ya luwasi ni keme soto je e tan seyta mu wandin tel mal be okel sonna poro be wala nyam na airport mi ye million tan nani nin kilin keje ni kuram mak soto ja nyam air conditioner mam tama nyam jonkon fam mam beteya say ko bi fay be fanan concession la gamsel e ko dum ñu ba ko kan wala ka civil service jonu o fanan be ya bula pa be tiñar bi ka gamsel ka min bay fena min bay aseta mo ke mo wulati dolu bi je sanji tanul sanji mu wanke gamtel bi be bay kan be jola ko do min ma wuli ke be fulu fa aussi ima sakundale o be sa na lopitanol be buruta koma isa fole yapo fo sama so nyima sakunda not only en tarda men e murudi komale abe tilimbali yakam anin tinyaro
andum be jikiri ngatul opposition on lela Dr. Gajigo sai fana opposition o barite we're going to have a deep conversation ning nala application nala kafanyadi nala formation o barita ni IECLS registration or comp file. Then we look at the programs and the agenda and what message you want to sell to the Gambian people because akumayatal. But the opposition or lenyanta alkani mimbe for them. To be honest, you know, this is what I tell people. I'm not opposition. but I'm against the policies of this government. That is very clear. Because ntema buka mi understand no, yena kulungo fenko taile, ferry bridge taile, yena port taile, you are about to taile our airport. Airport or service will be, the other companies will, whilst other companies will be, GIA and you'll do, will tatale, will call it, will service the will. Ninu be. Be caring, and still they tell us we are doing okay. I don't understand. I tell them, but more often you last week say when you go no. If they tell you they are doing okay, yes, they are doing okay, but you and me are not doing okay.
Exactly.
And I said, oh, okay, now I understand. Yeah, because I'm not doing okay. My neighbor is not doing okay. Mano da mantala. Alko aleko do di president o barindi ngola pour your business okay. Aleko the facility di la pour mano da itala anim food fem mantala. Cash power bi nte ka fol nte malo fe ala fal ko te makalam ta ba because nte cash power kan minjo sa act gina computer
ka kafule mo boka kala
to be honest for the past 2 weeks nte ba fo kan ko left ni karo kala fala fatale ma fa ba because nte ka min sanu sai tamita
exactly
you know because maybe malef ka fo mo de mo bele dasil ta nyim banko ka
parce que ni ma sa ko na do ko
yeah
instead of ko dibata ya di president barindi ngola oye $50 million tanum serum ya di ja oil ami du jay kayta mano doku nim presumel to doku wala ni ko do ta ibadu la senole to mi ya lon ko manon ta sanna batta ko ke badu ko la jan ka fo le import substitution amin san banda na do ku jan ni 100 million mi ya ta ya di mo la ka du am so 200 million lam sai ko businessman pour que do mo ko sono ya di jan ni 200 million ta yadunde agriculture yaka nyama be bim fola wonte nyin
ndele be mano export la ndele ba wa
okay nawek ye million kimena nim fendu di dollar o nawek jam idamina wo kela yeta ye solar plan ko lo doku nawek kurang bokole ko silo silo is about $1 million per kilometer of highway Kurang fana 1 megawatt is about 1 million, 1.2 million. Ni $100 million to the kurang to jang. Ya ka nyama. We have about 100 megawatts of electricity. Ninga wasoto ngana hajul kambe bis kurang soto. 400 million 400 megawatts nyentol sur la nyimba koka.
Kurawola karola ninsi doma ninsi dun no jam mane ye kudo fanan kije mi alon ko nene nga nyin safele wole nyin tokis company called Kerr Fatou
yeah
yalon for 7 years nyi mansa kunda e contract kudi wala mbe kurawo sanka wolbul nka jolle sawosan fo jan nka 30 million US dollars le dundije for 7 years what is over $200 million
wena kurawo be solve lenjel
wo 200 million niota ye power plant kutamalo ndelebe courant wapi la Senegal.
Exactly.
Not only courant kuote reklant le problem woti but courant dabe jilale because hano talente o damma but million keme fula dollar mapo dalsi de dollaro million keme fula nga wole di nyum company la Kerr Fatou kulungo because kulungo nyin 30 megawatts le biji ndelbe 30 million ne joka abuko drum bi nintenga bungolo nkoy ko nyimbo ngalo 10 million le inata ko la bungolo basla ko ila luaso ke ila luaso sawo sabe kala 10 million net ele so na wala ndela bungolo 10 million ne tebe luaso joka 10 million ne sawo sa nyile wala ke bon o kuno nyin be ko sanka o kuno min bul min be nu encore mbanjul we 30 megawatts le soto nkawo jo min na 30 million wala so kulumo anala masumo bejo den wala jo sanji woro wala over $200 million nga wala diwo kulumo no sapele sinya jama fo mbatata jandi bina o cancel
kulumo songo awji ma bari sedi bil kulul tiol
kulumo sawo sambe jo ka wala
ya samminna sawo san nka wonyo wala di
sawo san wolin ke dominga but because we can all do in dollars. So in Tamuneke, they play with the exchange rate. So auditor sawosa nini ata ya jube. Kono min wol nyanta kamin soto. Adu milbe min sapeka e la general ledger. each year minka ke difference is in millions.
Wow.
So niaje o contrat ko be continue ga banko be foka na fulola molle bi je o management oto na wek milbe nafaka molle fana be government milbe nafaka woto sa wo sang itela account so to million ne bitaka nje adu auditors yol be safele sa wo sang
So.
jelem nga jube kabo 2017 to 2022 damma kodo min nyata nawe kono mi alon ko auditors ma account is over $1 billion. Over 1 billion. So niyo belo nyi masakunda to be jang wala naka siken sendron
Kebulo
la akole hata
barisilang wala tinante ko ninko ngambulo la bi Mr. Gajigo fela joint nangalka UDP you are the biggest opposition party.
Yeah.
Niya ntolka critical nte la problem obe more ka and I said this several times. More ka ko ika baro ika min fo baro ika fo opposition nko nte kana tax jo baro le.
Yeah.
Baro be marari na courant ni na dio ni na fengol bela. Nte man na banko di opposition wala folo. Ngana tax jo miya. Nte left na service ol min ala do ko mo to provide those services. That is why he is in power. That is why I am very, very critical. And this is a conviction for me personally.
Yes.
But also as opposition can scrutinize, especially UDP. You are the biggest opposition.
Yep.
You are a government in waiting. And don't be near the UDP allow the house put in order. And when we say that, some of you Allah model offense sort of with it. But the reason why we say that because molu batata. We want change. Lafta falling wala.
Exactly.
But I told fana nyuwa ko nko fo. Nyakumi menu NPP yo ta kika ya fai alka.
Nyakuti
la bungo kono ha janjanta ngani fo Mr. Dabo janna ko nyakuma ntol muta.
Nyakuti je.
Bari nyakuyal muta le fo se hin alka.
Hani.
Ngo aje ñu am ko mbato hanin te fon. Nte ma fa mo na bi nga yelo dum because ntani yelo bu ko ñoje ñu wato kon.
be attack
No, ben attack na left right and center. And seriously, I want to address this, Mr. Manneh.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not any political party. But I have said on this platform 100 times, Conte, manke UDP, but Usenu Dabo, because of a personal family connection. Mr. Dabo was my grandfather's personal lawyer. My grandmother used to tell me, Kabinte dindi ma, ni left Mr. Dabo Jola, in Intela Katanu. Nini tahaje, ni yanta jola 30,000 laka, 20 bechika for aja, ni samahane, ni sendi, in dindi wana tatilo kandita. As I say, my grandfather used to do that. Because now Mr. Dabo Jolo 30,000 la, I had him mama, Nim tell him mama ninte tata, I just tilo candita, Dingo tilo candita, honey, yin samba, yin say, Namra kodo half will be a cassinal. So for me, my family sees him as Mia Lonko, his family. My grandmother, do whatever you want. Kunungo yankola konyo ko fatu kana Usain Dabo jamfa nka yumba Usain Dabo la jamfa la munela nte manke UDP telo UDP I'm not UDP but for me na conviction lonko baro government be minke kam I don't believe in their policies. I don't believe in what they're doing, and that is why I'm very, very critical of this government. And that resulted to my brand being called Kerr UDP. Right? And that resulted for this government to strip me of over $15 million of signed contracts with all parastatals in this country. Nobody helped me with those contracts. I worked so hard. Purko contract also to ntarola muso menemanta moya ngap inappropriate behavior ke purka contracts to. Ngana doko ke ntarola nteka doko ke nte fe ofen finta na network to ngajele. I am totally control of my network. I work day and night. Bari nyima sekunda na contracts all beta. Iko munem ikonte mu UDP let. But in 5 years, 7 years, 3 years kabere okani bitema, I'm still standing. Nina manta moya, minister do kan kole ni watu fango na kole ngata ni mbaro isi ina idea mo ni pati contract all besi nda nkai ko ni mbaro la stanna isi. Interview lo. Inte man fenso, inte man ke politician, man ke opposition, inte mo journalist. But nga UDP koljer ni watu kon. Ala ni split. I told somebody this is going to be the longest 15 months of our career. Because ngaminji Allah ni split, and this happened to us. Kabre UDP ni baro splitter. Even people nimminuko comment on Facebook. Nintenga nima kinte post. Some people got upset because nima kinte baro la side. Ninga binet bojang up post. Nyindol mini along ko be NPP. Wolfana kamfa because nga post. For me, I said, you know what? I don't care about all this pettiness. I'm doing my job. Again, it is coming, and this one I want to address it. I saw people saying, "Go Fatou Toure, ate tatale ate sanne." Adama Barrow ni woman Sano, Talib Bensouda cannot buy me. And I'm saying this on air. There's nobody in this country that can buy me. I have a big network. Hanna manke advertisement, I pay my salary based on other things that I do on the side. Because nintel kombela ndebe jikila nyinda mala. Kasanga fa karo kata fa femugo dunto account because ya bele tambulu. Bari ala anin Gambia no. That's why we are even able to pay salaries. But think of people that we sacrificed because it all came miracle. I'm doing it for Gambia. But more many along ko be UDP jama ba ka jelko we align to them equal mira and they respect the job we are doing. But I see the same people attacking me personally. Because I saw a post where somebody was saying, "Wala tina hani diwa ta sotonola." For if you tell that to a woman, that is very personal. And the reason why I'm saying this, my 80-year-old grandmother, I don't get bothered about this. Mama, akatara YouTube wallet. Kibaro net YouTube, you be forum beto adife. And she was listening akonye Fatu ngamo ibe kaja fila Fatu. Fatu nana kana usienu jamfa. Ikoye usienu tuje kana usienu jamfa. I had to assure her. La nimbe na dokola. Nte mamfenke. Nimmin kitante kole sata. Nte buka fella moka buka femfo. Nka minfo Adama Boroye. Ni usienu kita president otimbola fola na makiku. And I see that here. Jani bal no fonte mu UDP ba fo senda ba ke president. Wol ne bal no fonte mu UDP fo manke UDP. Ni ma ke ko memi sa Manneh ñol sinde mba sa filal.
Absolutely.
But the thing is I don't want anybody to attack me and label me because if they do I will come after. I will menjolal because I'm doing my job, Mr. Manneh.
Yeah, it's painful.
And it's getting very painful. It's getting personal. I did a documentary for Mr. Dabo at zero cost.
So
because I minke, because Allah who he is, an elderly statesman, because of the man he is, the work he has done for this country, out of conviction.
Absolutely.
But people calling me names, attacking me, going to forums and doing all of this just to bully me and intimidate me, then Baro minka fana bole kumas kakakenna.
No, kana fo.
Mama konye ko ni inin jante. I will konye. And I will that is very painful.
Kana fo nyama. Mina sinan ko kana fo nyama. Bi Ousainou Darboe. Mo tanyem banko ke kam men nen kata bi Ousainou Darboe.
You don't want a politician. I'm not a politician.
No, absolutely, and I understand.
Yeah.
And I really commiserate ila kubri mo rebule la nyama. Ousainou Darboe ka fo dolu hani mbane alkane jofang ali tuje. Ning politician olu mimbi banko kan. Untul ngalon ne kon dunta min kon. Ngalon ne ko ni dunta politiko kon nyim banko kan jang wote bayila. Ika min fontema. Ko Ousman, ika min fo Ousainou Darboe wala tapanta.
Yeah.
Ika ofos bel. Bari ngalon ne ko ni pareta tile wala yalon ndesan alma ka farne ba kala Oustaz Omar Bunjeng ako ni lu min alay kon tede bi ngi tere muta ndanke ne tele la man to kurunkela be seda mala la cour ako o lu ngi do ko soto aw kartu setane si kele si marsa si ko son be kele pour que boyinde pour que si ko lo bo se die bu sante ni to politiko ko no jang ngaro nak buton do ko cité ma hani teriñolu tol ka borilale katu mallafi yeje ni tolu ye fanan ko fanambe UDP le wala fenkol si borila ibadi on lol si borila isi ñol lol si borila ni man strong ifana be fanyo layta bad nim be gam fonyon ko wala samante mo fonta fa mo al banko ti ñatale ntol na banko ntol le ba do kula so wonen diro unfortunately mo dol bi je kat dim yalla ko man ko so de min fola e kala ban nen dirol ban ni ko be da ko nyanta min fole ka sile yow ko mo fal ya kacha yeto nyaay tan di ñolal ya fo mo manyana mo nen na jang barante han fon la parti kono mo kan ko man le kan yo fa safo le bi on ko man bari kan nen on social media mo kan ya fa na fa ko me xal me la haji sot ndabe banku do ko wala ntolo min na jihadolem.
Yeah.
So ni ano yenden ila kuma be bulu jeyo be ni tolle di yaketule daji ko tandi molla itol mud mo kurun de ko daji ko kurun e gol fintinde bi nin mole Ousainou la kuma moy mota mo den sa koyte Usenu lulo asilo kam alkana mo nen hani yal nen alkane jo ala mo nena mo bembane na altambi usenu tanjir tan sabay mamme fama masor iba nen iba kajafile bal dimbal ne be kajafile ko so be fola ayemu wa bela katum banko wala ya hati alon ko milkake ika fina corruption fights back ni ko kuru ya ke fanan kelele fo si jikilate ye fonyo ni mam bambay kala ban jikilate la ye fonyo ibe do ko men nabi dol ko la fi do ko ke fatu ibe la fi la ye dey
Maman tibe mo tibe sila America la sila wallahi mbe na fengol papa at this point
kuru yale ka kuru ya men
it's just
kuru ya no kunale man la fi wala so ite wo pa modu boja wo ane nyim presto malu be mila momo to jafo bi to mu UDP le to mo opposition ole
ani ni UDP ko fon kana fana wol fanan kana attack dum and this is what I told I had this conversation with Pa Modu at this point we have to reevaluate because ndodo do ko bankole we are not aligned with UDP ka for mu politician oleti bari in yalong opposition ning journalist do ko ka sutia nyola balake because ndolka government hold accountable atol fanan ke hold accountable so nka align balake so at some point in any country major countries ika opposition ning journalist ka fo nyumu opposition media let ko di ike accuse wala and naturally ndol fanan ka accuse ko mu UDP let but it's saying not rattle the mal fanan issues to and everybody started coming after us and I'm thinking okay nin baraya dundin tolka usen la katasi platform wata and defend beside the same person wala mol fon kana kan tol attack
hani wala nan ko kana fo nyama usen la molun ten
ala molun
on the fringe
I can tell you even I can tell you even some very close people I don't want I'll tell you after this show I'm kind of sad I'll tell you after this
yes no wala ke bitana ga to nya fo yalon comment ya mamme sambu jawne
Yes, you rectified.
Yeah, publish.
Yes, you rectified that. Yeah.
Because amanya na kila.
That's true.
And no sabuja mo bete balete.
That's true.
Na sabuja lon.
Yeah. But you rectified him.
Mari, setani afana marsa ku kamanya na minkel.
Yeah.
And bega ko nda panye wallahi mboyta.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mol mi yaron ko be silo ke beter ne nu da ke ne kumande. Ole ko ni bari ngo tonye ya fasa na tonye doke ya fasa ka fasa nya ko tonya foy so milka bulan tol bela amandi ya moy bari wala ftale ye dey wala do fana ngan dey Ousman ye dey abo politiko ko to si continue la kuruyal wala nan ko entende la alien neng nyimba ko le jarta nyewala so to fana be minna ikam min fintindi bien si tajam bi nga min fo fango am bi dama ay mo jamala hakilo yalla tumando ay mo jamala karam tan imam mi lonno imal la fi wayeke so fodol yenen mo te bayila bari mili be nen te kala UDP na multi million kon ni wol yak ni ngaka to ba fa to nya tebul banku do ko ay mo na nyininka mbe ngam bon fanto ngam bon semboto ngam bon na fudo ngam bon na ko beto pour ka banku do ko sa mbe na fa soto je wallahi so mil man la fi wayke mil la ko kili nafada mada mil la fi nyaro ke ko ngo kono mo kana kala muta wal man la fi press la so press to le ka ko finti de banta ngaje on ka fi Fourth Estate pour yambe ke to le ka finti de mol be yaaje nem Kerr Fatou man soto ko fi time man soto Pa Modu la radio man soto ni nyen do lewul man soto jarañol man taraja nte kuma moy la kuru yato so kuru molbe kuru yaro man la falto le diamude wal man la fi Ousman Gajigo e diamude wal man la fi Lamin Manneh e diamu defal ngande sir kunti la kuru yala in secrecy so wol ko mi yalon ko ko le yatal de ko le yatal diminta ba ko be ngam wala to continue kana jikrate kana
just ko bandin ka fuje fana obviously nte ñi lesin min ñi tan dintela wala min ñinte ko ni bina du na political party form la akumayatele from the get go ka ñi tan di ila mo be support la ka ko moyalon ko monem acceptable behavior mi ko musiloti ani mi manyana kila siloti ni mol disagree ta mo do fm fa be party do to iman d'accord ala nendiro da bondi je ni jalairo bondi ye mol si sinole mo ne kuma ke so soto ibuka nendiro dundi je ne kuma so yaro so be min fola ibuka nendiro ke je ibuka nyum kuma furu ngol foje
exactly
bendel be nyim bambandi lan na nyim pati ro mimbina formula wala nyindi ko ni ben telie ndel be lorim fo feye na vision mu minti bina lola na sector nga safele mbalondi la so ni lafta kantel fasa nyanta fo fembe mba fola nyim banko kan karangola karolem jata kendialem ban senolem ban energy lem ban use la karolem ban fo economy lem ban fisi fo fen mba safele abije telbe lorin dame na supporters mba explain nele kawo kan mba fola si dino momo i karanta we man karan ni karanta e sa karan no fa yari di fa ni manta school mbe silale nga kacha dulal beto ni lafta kantel fasa ni molo ta e femfo nde lap karola e nyanta jabila minna wolente be lori mi war neniro kala taraje no nyi ndam furun kan taraje ni ko ba kela mbe won la ni afula njam mbe bon laje juna mba fule ko mantra diamu kanteli ni ben na palaso to nge bonje ni manke palaso nga foye ko ni mantra diamu kanteli patiol be nyanta ka nyim bambandile saje you know ibake kan pati dolle ban ibake kan jolli solle ban momo tara ka be nyim pusi fa dun la nyin na political discussion kono aman blast tuje bi telem sama sikero tel momo because ni be siri be mo nenka then diamo minya takala banko la doko imantra okeka so ko mo imantra lori palaso fango so nyin ndel ka nyin ndel fa mimbe momo be pati penko kela na you know imari mu official to way be fringe wo ndel be la nyanta tala as responsibility
exactly bari kuma kirim fanam faylaw ka like UDP tomorrow dol kam kuma manewol fo moli to folle ka pindi kata en parce que ka jibe juma nyol le dolu bi yol ka fen to le support ko alkan naden support alkan to kuya alkan ku ke mis man toroti ni ka ja mi ma feke bela banne bayla ko def kon doke mamme pour du ya kunta jallu bi pour ga stop bare dolu bi je ol manke UDP kat fond e kana le feke UDP ngoti pour kana ka bula mo la ke neng ko kan tole to kuya o be mu strategy let kunun ko le ngawel fu kunun namba malo nga video doje nen Frida Gomez ni MC Cham
AI video AI video min de la
video
yo fake le
AI biri yake amol moy ko UDP lam ñata ko UDP tam NPP ko le yake ari men na mili kanyuluke ika kele mili alon koy si batandi la politiko kono pour kawol toku ya kuma na rankil bebe kere last week mi finti da fu class le lo kun tambira min kan namba ko nam wolo ko ne mol fintal kan nan inin audio wala video ikale usenu la munyita usenu la nyifota fota kuru kunta ya kumul kana mola moy ko AI le be kere
sa
ikafme voice cloning isi kango tale yera voice clone ye forindi ko le ba memfu o be ka kele ngaji yanne ye baroning makisal tak ye bondi be paja be paja nga dongol
ka yane dawo ta fon ka fi Twitter TikTok le
so o be ka kele sign AI le be caring so iso le be kero le fa sama le fa si ya mo usen da be banandiro le ko usen da bolem so da be banandiro biento but AI le be caring bi so kuma dole ka fo abanke molti fonte mil ka fo fang AI le kawke yin computer ka da wala mimma AI lo wala yin computer ka wala min kita si mo kam mo dia mo nyata wala imulungo ya ta ya ko sama computer kono ya ke kerindi fenna mi yalo ko e mak wala ya commande dia mo di fenna ma mink wol bebe kelal fanande isi da danyin den diro site tande bela bana AI so si lawo bela
I just want to say konte manke politician
but han politician o fango
but the thing is the truth is the attack is not just from you but in that NPP talent even this fertility one coming for one NPP that I must say that page NPP must go one walleti wolle ko safe ko la sa banko janla din tembulu ke tembulu family tembulu wana la sa banko janla so one NPP talti But the other attacks, obviously, these are people that I know on Facebook and I know them. But I'm not bothered about it.
Exactly.
But I think for me, it's when it affects my family, especially my grandmother, that is a concern for me. But apart from that, every other thing,
no, exactly.
But you know,
exactly.
if it affects my grandmother, I'm a concerned person on that. Yeah.
Sanji keme sanji nani le soto. Tumodo ne kumodo le fodinga moy da moy. Nis versam ko ni bari imam meta kilo dunia ele fana continue dron.
Yeah.
Be na jihadole.
Yeah.
So say academy nan kala academy.
Academy, yeah.
Bari muta ya lonko mbe min kan be sila ken wala kan.
Yeah.
Ko be kilo le banko le sano le si bulta ne fola
yo. Min kan ya min kan deje. Ko konti ko yete san. Ko bari ya wala inte lomba.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you know my mental state of mind?
Yeah.
If Boro cannot buy me,
yeah.
Who can buy me?
So you so Santa Jande nga ol jele.
Kono. Femol dita mon la ye chokot intama apply for bari ko alkara dia.
Yeah.
Kerr Fatou alkara dia. Wo be mente border. Nte jumal bente sanno.
So wala
they don't know my mindset.
Wala ko continue yin kelo la pour kanyum masa kunda falling. Kasu gam kira tax le jojam. Ye mo ta do ko la jang. Ibe jola Karifa jola. So you are entitled to advertisement and publicity and everything.
I'm used to not getting it now.
Bari, ila nyanto ke bali wala. Katika tonya min fo wala ke dimin. So ni welo ta ko ngat be tonya la fasara. Ikela la be siala.
Bara kana boato la molia. Wolwo na boto wolia.
Wallahi
na boto wolia.
Ninto.
Ini mama la force be kela. Ando ade bala kartela le. Ako de kabiri sungutundi. Kakarte fa uselle bari nañi kilimba kilo min be ñako do entet.
Yo ila fita wala. Ila fita wala.
If they do that, you're losing my family.
Ila fita wala.
So that's what they should understand.
Ila fita wala.
Mo jikira ngala kilimba kilo min. Yo on ya attack ya kadef yo mo nyemunda la business ol. Abe fale lale.
Ko wala fere mil ka nyin kene ka ke wala kama pour ka molu bayim bala.
So say ala nyakudu albo solve ka nyaari ka nyakule bale ya.
Nyakudu ya.
Fitino bi mo resign la dro. Say resignation of phone ata. Nga jinga fo ko mun nyim fo dol fo ngaja ta fela ba. Mo bi ta ka.
No, Fatou.
Mo be ta ka.
Mo tunga fo min be caring.
Ha.
Niya moyitu modo ka modo wala ka modo ka gwani birin diaspora ka gwani tutu tala saba mo ne be caring ute caring politico dolbi na dolbi ta mo mala ye fo mola mo ka fana to bar dunya be o nyaama te bayila dolbi ta dolbi na militata niya be la nyokan hani kabi abantan na nisi bari be killing sama fula be killing sama fula you defeat wall
because it's a strategy too political strategy logo
bari look o kuma sabi ko min o wi ko pawo damma mo taworo da UDP kabana NPP ning APRC e receive man jabiro kunun ko tara do fana mo le sawtane kaduna du wata mo bi nanan to kadu mo patata le e kamfata sa yalo ko fanyi pale ngoyeke so mo bi nakane wati bari modol bi takanne bari tumando banden ko nin ko robe la kayro tem ak tene do tembole to min la tala man la fieta bani ko bita
temtanon
temtala han temtala no temtala fa ka to nin aya tara democracy la ta wol ko me kelo pour democracy baluñi banko kan ay sembo soto ja nin democracy tamari ko man so wala ko democracy la kato UDP ismo be fuma fonna loi nomo na president Tombon na president candidate Tombon na ke loi na loi la silo la nemba ko la loi la silo
camera ko national election
exactly na bro silo be noma na Tombon diroke ngambandi ito ko Tombon diro man diete to bitade so majority min fota man la fiwol mbiri tata fana sa no le ga putu ga fo ay tata batu nge replace ko tabake kole hani tolte na luwal tinyala itatale bari na luwal kole ko nin congressman ta siring wati mena manta beonka central committee la yenta wokel son kombe silla ngan na wato ta na central committee command meeting wala ngana milita tangela place will advertise mi lafta la ya apply ngana election okay nge mol send la place
but place ko mo bale tara mi samane national organizing secretary deputy national organizing secretary campaign manager deputy campaign manager man dol fo bari ñun non patiola media admin ñun non patiola grassroots mobilization
exactly
this is huge for ali aje nyale ko ñun ta they were going into elections 15 months into election ñun tal batandi la ba
hani kato ñun la ñanta fere kala pour patio gagner
ha
wala ta ko ñeko ñin te gagner non so ita ka mo nek non before il la ñanta campagne pour nga kan gagner iman gagner di no iman ku keno igana fa ñeko xam bisa daga ta lom fay iman usen gagner di no da bisa ma gagner di ñimba ko kanja
ima usen gagner di no
ha bisa ma gagner di no amunte itla do ko fa sotari bare biye bari itol tarin kola bi being advertise momi ya apply
asiara
atabita siat mo be kala ñu do ko pour ka tombo di rokeje bari kole ko nimmi man do ko keno wala man ku démocratie koma ta nga modulta comme kany mo ko fu mo ko kan ndiro kan ñen do ni man ndiro bula man ku bula man tolman sulela ta sula tam mo betal men si banko do ko men sa na samanda mal si keno kilindi lafta wala nte man baro kon ala politiko le man diagne ala banko tam diagne man diagne ira ala nala man sakunda la kuruya wala man diagne par mo tam wala nga baro nen
no
ila kuruya den ko fala lulu suma dati li bulawra
you've never been disrespectful no
yeah parenti nte kuma kurum folema
yeah
so the same thing lem fana na parti ko man la fi nendir la je man la fi mo la je bil ka ke ka fele stop wala be bayla bari wuta do yata famo anim fana min lafta démocratie la il fala banko ka nyamen il fala parti ko wala nyam nim parti o molu ngo to mandiro ko nsanga nga fogo executive congress len tombo grassroots len tombo adan to dama nga to mandiro bari ko le hani ntol da mata kelen ntol nga to mandiro ko interview to mbota je tata grassroots fana kata molu ya ke nyini kay mir o be ke ta mun tombo ite ko mete si it lafta min nebol kala je wala ngata ta
but strategically is it wise for UDP just to concentrate on Talib Nala Molo instead of Barrow? Because right now it looks like wol be caring ñi be caring
yalo
banko kan right now ñi audit report na man kete kilinti ma ani modo nte buka momoy so man dan kam je Facebook everything is back and forth with team Talib nal ka okay albe sembo di ka wala albe national presidency di kela instead of concentrating on Barrow corruption ñi be caring
na mul bin ka okay
yeah
nka fa altu talu ñu la PR te mu ne
of course
parce que man Talib la wati soto man time soto abe yalu nga tata similay ala ma tato ko ñoko neeru
but what strategy right now
so ntolu dan again same thing ila fringe elements on nafringe man jobe ño sonko
ote bayno
bari ntolla tolti ko munati ntolu bulta ka barole kala nal masukunda ke jindi fo kuriyas ba nyimba koka Talib or anybody in the opposition with us different opposition not
hay fana mo opposition not
so mo opposition ko tolti mo
alda mama ne ñoo mala ha
nte mo mala ka to lafta ningol be nak ñola do ko
kata se keno coalition not le soma de ni fo
ni la fita
coalition se keno de malo ya de be ñami na terste tenji albe sino la ñaade tabulo kan
hani ni la fita aske bar bumbe ko la laje ngol ben ko ñeko ali to mo diro ka limma ñam ka bande ñen sa be ka ka fu no la ñaade ñola ñaade narte ko ñeko de nte de lafta lola bari masoto mbado bari ngata akata am paye banta sato mo de bay masoto murtana par min ko letta mandir ñawle man diagne kati min tombo wala man diagne sa mo na sama ñako
alni de sino coalition
ni ko de sino bara ku ka ko leela
fa se banko jiwa
kato ni ko ngamin to bu senda wala man diye wala te tar sama ni mo na ñaade ka fa sa son taw seno la bar abe tan lebul ni ko son taw sen la sama isi mo nga coalition ak bari ntolo minna mo be opposition oto ni coalition ke wo ma ke wo be ka kukiri wala kele manyen nañu attaque la manyen nañu kajafi la na problème mo nati bintulu wala baron na la masakunda Nimbe opposition to niman hani man dem principles la man nyomoy. Nimman coalition ke no fana. Ndolo min so te fana min so be dol tala baro bulle.
Exactly.
Mama Kande 2016.
Nati jeno baro ya.
Briko ay nana coalition ka da dije. Ni Mama Kande da opposition rumono. Dole carte fay ta fayra ya
Jameleno.
Abe gagner.
Teno 11,000 the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Mama Kande lota fayele.
Ayo 8 years min so.
Ay so wala tinna opposition coalition gagner tano. So mo be opposition kono bi. To le kachala nimbo le kachala kanne pour nga coalition so. Ani man la ka do coalition ko. Ni lo te faye fana. Ibe carte tala baro le bul. Seulement problème soto woto. Bare mañulu nya soto kote ke kole kon ni la futuo bantale. Okay bismillah.
Hani futuo bande ya fengo ka tara ya
bare bande ko kam sama ka bande barna ne nyoya bi ka ba.
No futuo bande ya fengo ya ka tara jelo ko. Ni
woro mo ni bunya bi jele. Nta tanyo ka.
Ala ni futuo ba. Ha ni mesita. Sam doke gaji ke futuo ba jinjele ya.
Ama
ndal ba jube.
Ama meside.
Mesita?
Ni aju bil beta ta kamu defo. Ntatele parce que ni UDP e bin ki telem to mon ko to man so wala bari ni do ko bitbala ke nyokan ni hormala ngi bunya
yorfo
ibe ka wala to fan ka fal bismillah tatale man nyomo no ko teke bari ma fala le ko almata to fanyo kunnalto alam we wish you well wish you luck
albe bu ko fo de
ci ba bakolo mo dantan ne bi ko
majority bu ko fo de
parce que mo dantan mo bi ka
iba la fo mo to ba ndiko audio moy
dol to le bari ante
media ndeka muta kibaro network le kibaro suto jani ndeka lanka ta kibaro lanka audio be moy wol
ani yalo doli bi je
ha
ka so ko defante
kibaro ka dule
o di hata doli yele o te bayila okay but han wo fama al sakelo nal ma kuro fo nyoy ma ko jaw fo nyoy asu sabano jele on te problème ti politiko le sabana
ya politiko mo ya
dol ka baro to nyenjane ko mo falay bari te kuma jaw folam so al ñu sabano lo on any network ala fenk al ñu sabaje al ñu kaje al ñu non par ñu kaje al ñu criticize je bari kuma jawal kana fo je kuma kurun kana fo je politiko man na wala wala mo ka fi politiko man no mo la kanu nori wala ka do politiko ko bari politiko man no politiko mun de ka banko do ku pour banko de gol bi ra nyanto soto be gata nyaatu wala politiko political original terminology in Greek politics is work on the city ka banko doku banko la hajo banko la nyanto ka o doku wala political so ka o ka anyama o man no mo noro la ka dum political kono ko political no political man no political is noble mo de ko na banko fu nga kelo ka na banko tanya to e bete yambe nyanto so to yembe be nga nyanya banko nimba nga Gambia do ko nyama mo finta bi same tara ba ni bon kamata Gambia Gambia o banku dima yes you are proud lafta jele la so mo mbo katela banko o man no o daji ko man no man ko to man jawiya
what is the UDP be munekela because tonya Gambia no ko min jube bi mol ko banko ko la mol batatale tonya abaro diata ya man fo dia wolom toñaati ñim banko koleyaata banko be koleyare ne mol batata le fengo bele serta fenda man dia mol ko toña san tutam fana mala fi tatam la ntanga folen tatam ko ntije yana san modu mojima man tara tatam ko to ñim banko kan yana san so mol left minna a unified opposition p atolo nyaatam kolti how is the UDP going to lead that conversation ka banku dingol jikindi ko mbesi nano nyoka ne nyanta ko masa janne Dr. Gajigo ya wasi we apollo ale kacha politician wala ale kacha
den kala politician den tan kala politician
di
même progress ledi be do ko no African development nyola nga nyola yan do politiko ko
so saying alba nyanta ko maslate ya bari broadly fanan every composition UDP be min role play no la kamol ka fundi nyoka because tonya banku dingol lafta wala
ndol be lafta wala andu mi wala kan ko nimmol be kacha kan andu mi ko teno kacha la to mando janna mela alben de mala nga nyomoy katun ko kili yesene ya mo bem Gambia jang pati kilin ta tamandi no
No.
pati kilin ta do kuno
No.
pati alun do mo kilim pati kilim bu
I like that.
banko jang musulata banko dingol bela ni la londo
Yeah.
kanyim banko do ko momo yan ko ti ite la tilingol banko la ko le hati
Yeah.
ilafta nga ta ñaatu mbiñata ka fa ñu banko do ko Nelson Mandela
Yeah.
bire nga gagneta birabato prison ya bula foy data election ko gagneta e National Assembly election olke
Yeah.
e mo super majority so da super majority do mandik ya interview woto won be England le fan biriba interview la won that was based in Manchester ya jinen kay ko so ngalo bi de ni ko yatal de e mo super majority so ako hani actually be contental e kay contenta ko ha ako ka ngi super majority so no ni mota ka chala ko tek min de yoro be wala kala we have the majority but majority is perfect that in sa falen banko ka min de ta ngake no ka to si banko tinyante ni mota ka chala ko tek de compromise kala ko tek politique do mo compromise leti ita be so no la ntu lafta nyene to lafta nyene nga jom mo stano nyaadi le pour ka nyomoy middle of the road ite compromise do man de jammuta jambula fa jammuta jambula nga be ka fu nyoma
Yeah.
ni kon te da mun tila famina do do kala de mota sil
Ni mota sil.
amin na solu kono ni kon te ta ko da malafta min do wala kala su ko kan suute ni mota su ko
Yeah.
so fo nga sile nga kacha nga lon ko banko mo kilin tanteng pati kilin tanteng si kilin tanteng mbele den tala
Yeah.
andu mo kilin manya na takpolo ko mbata ni ko ni UDP sita bi di kon da mala UDP ko man sa kunda tamandil nte melaje
No.
nte melaje
Yeah.
but ni sita ya lon ko ni molde ta banko la Ousman Gajigo is an excellent economist.
Of course.
We need Ousman Gajigo.
Yeah.
Another guy is an excellent agriculturalist,
Yeah.
excellent IT guy somewhere.
Yeah.
E betta la UDP. Nyanto ge be kata ndangi be ka funyoma. Na banko do
Ko.
fombe sina faso to je. So banko ka bitama la wala nyama. Wala nan to limol be ka. Da ndol ka sikam ne Ousseynou yalte alte coalition so lam kalma Ousseynou long.
Yeah.
Ousseynou
And I want to come there. Wala ka fo.
Yeah.
Alpha nan kamoy. Mo coming for wolon ko natra to leader le BJ more the coalition also with UDP because at the son the terms of the conditions of the coalition. And that has been a notion dol ka fol fanko na be njan 2016 on coalition of the
ya we ka tole ku yato ke ba tole diata
ato diata
kuma ko fodo isa hane Ousseynou wulta lo tawi sa hana be sirin na yo don je ko sa be fara kan wala wote bayil
ato diata
bari Ousseynou ni me Ousseynou long mo ma respect pour Ousseynou te mo ma xadama ya Ousseynou te mo ma mol kan Ousseynou te bir abala ñun to menata Europe te amam bono jan juna amantano France apolota Italy le France ko ko hana jan fa na je fanan abota Austria Vienna atata France le
nan ka fo France convention flag kata woto meeting flag kata
ye folo ke jelo bari ko jan nabe ta fay na je ko te carte ma futano je nata taje birga futata je ni yaje molu ya bendu nyami na molu fana sita ni ka chali minke kata ndila ko lafa kana nan jambari mas man nano wulno junale wala da man nan bar bal ko na fu kana nan jam romo ni bunya bennal tema atele folo diaspora la chapter foloti anna mo jama le bija mili alon ko yakato ko patiye so fo na nan janga na futalima bari ali be akamim fonye UDP ka dingol be every single one nyane kala campaign manager mo mo ita mo click katara yemo click sambana mala pela ngana broda sambana nga singa group coalition okay so be nyille la be wolla tay mo binna tiyo nyi Ousseynou yalon ne ko UDP da mata banko sambano
that's true
Ousseynou yalon ne ko sulta banko dingol be la ni every competence every skill nyimba ko kan sulata
yeah
wala banko sambal Ousseynou ka mo kana mo nengal kana mo kajafe kana mo bayimbala akana mo bayimbala ma da ko no moti wati la sala ngambe don sabana ngi katanyo ngi karanyo bala kana kila tsiru ke paranyo bala
yeah
bari na molu bil ka kajafe wala to fola kalfel to ka fu ha Ousainou Teng Fatou Keba men sita sanji tan saba nyim banko ka be kelola ala fema be tuje a fotala do kuwol a fotala nafulola a fotala kordala a fotala fegol beera pour nyim banko mam pisali mam muru koma aya niyo laje mo be yakala wato men na bire solo sande muta a finta kon tele bi tambila nyaaton tol
ni ben folo
ni be kido fayla ke so ben tole folo fa i fintita alo ko do na feta se fano lo wolo bara fintita pour banko le jarta wala aya niyo la banko e pour banko kan ndo e ma fa bari ali pa ya barama ya ka si se kulo kati ya tabula mo ko ni tati fay pol sel jeel ni mailtu a fintita lo menna akoy Yaya Jammeh ntela talamo jam fata mo bi obi la ka sanyum woni fuda ko lamen la Ousainou kan mo to la kan ko tek bara finta ko jam fata lugo menna yenna election sunya 2021 mol ko fuga finti ni mol du nyola akate kela na mol ko fane fuga finti ba finta ka den kilo la mole pour kana taban lok ni mi yafsa la mena ta ka Ousainou gay ma jayi de ka mo fale kul tentu ntol man na politique ko pour kana feññinin man na politique ko pour kata mo kana mo promote to la politique ko pour kana banko doku wallahi ning masakunda UDP masakunda sita ndun taje ngaf mo le mbika sapu make farati kamma UDP masakunda o enego masakunda Gambia masakunda ite njola fenna man min soto mbika min soto bi man na feññinin na bari ni yaje kanyin ke katuna banko wala ya fi Ousainou fana be ko kilo nyaa uni Ousainou sita sanul be ay se butal pour adimbal da mayat sambal adimba afona lo ya kamin soto ya su ko teno wala ra adimba fona da mayat sambal bari mbebe kelo la Ousman Gajigo nte o anybody inter consultancies la sango kono si soto sanjilu do ko kambe ma sakunda to dilan si soto kari woro ni yato Gambia masakon sanyi doko sanyi doko ta dilan
ha ola nan konte jahal tate agriculturist seno mi bere nyim banko ka sila ka ta politiko don to
no but
banko do kolam to be honest is
but I mean I mean obviously Ousainou Darboe as an individual Gambia jam momi mbega mi witness jam you know, I'm multi me along. You should have nothing but respect for him. I may encounter young for the past, you know, the 20 years under Jammeh. You know, kolbe koleari mojamabul afanasi bono jana rasi tuwabdu. So as an individual, monyanta ka bunyani hormo da maldia.
Yes.
But okola fanam, but you know, nabe disagree la dame well in 2021. There, I don't believe coming NPP la winning akera sunyalti. I think UDP lost. I believe more late. Gambia no ye option also like a fight Ousainou Darboe, they chose Adama Barrow. So pro ena lo koteke de itel fo ya jele la parti kono mol fo be parti de nyaton kono mil fo man so wala so ndefa waje nyamente nim ko falindiro man sa Gambia jang amenke Barrow damati you know nim parti jama fo min bije fo nyanda falindiro kala jele UDP tonya opposition olde bari UDP farante tatra nyi mansakunda konole aram Barrow la first 3 years mu UDP mansakunda leti nimbe tonya fula ngofa na ko indije so UDP fanan nyentra nyi mansakunda so ntenia jembe dunna political party yoto ma mantanga dum party doto because party jama mil bije imanyafa falindiro amanya na kala drong ana barola la mansakundati nyim parti jamal fana mije woli fana falindiro nyinin kale so nyanta ka o fana fenkiji as an individual UDP la nyaton kol wol kay mo manyen ka sile ke doya ka femfo because it means sacrifice banko ka but banko la nyatota e buka individual o da majubi because banko le warta individual o tije banko ma wara minti nimba jube la sama minsi banko sambano mbuka jube jumale batata nyanta jube la jumale sa tamandino banko la tamandiro abuka jube do min rom batata you know mil sacrifice ta mil fata moment sacrifice tambi min fata Bari min fadan de wolo no la nyaatu. So nimbe banko la nyaatu ta fola. Nyanta jube la bi ninga molo ndi min si banko sambanya. Ne ajentel betam be ndadu nda jebi nga jube le milbe lorin jebi wol ma nyafa.
Okay.
Ha walatin. So nyato de be duwala benga na nga kafunyoka. Nsi sino le nga kacha because I have nyame particularly nyin samba nola. Be nyanta sila le nga si nga jube mimbe banko na fala nga okay bari fana nga lon ko fana Alex Gambenol sitale ye baro jube ye oda candidates nyul je mama kande jube esa fa jube ye Ousmane Dabo jube ye Adam Baro tom so Adam Baro nata amake ya nyam adu ngalo mulbe batani nyam mulbe la palindiro la ndaga no yudimin course et believe tamin na wolem ko sunyaro le kel of course ngalo tapale wote baylo be kelale bari
was it widespread
what difference mimbe baroning Dabo tema ya battle to pour tapale ya yo be explain no so I believe that Gambenol ye optional deal between Ousmane Dabo and Adam Baro ye Adam Baro tombo so wo nyanta wo reality face la adu new optional na rakote ke Gambia be dame jam be batami ko bina murula kamal bina murula
otekela
so walatin na
so jamira nin dawo nin barolo to ko te kiasa ke baro be ganyela
no amanke I am 100% certain nin dawo nin baro lo to ko te fenke baro ba win la that is my belief
that is not going to happen.
Wow, that would I don't want Baro to win next election.
My brother can you move la jamala do.
Yeah, but I'm agree. I not agree no you know.
2021.
Yeah.
Ntulunga jele, mo be jele. I was sitting in the command center mbeke kanu nga jele. Sunyaro men keta nga jele. Sunyaro men keta the system member jamme bulu nung. I was 300,000 votes in the system o kono. Baro na la mole ole reconstitute. Ye wole talam polling station this coalition central kono ntulunga lo to mo baro na la mole yalo wole ye tinyaro sambanang nga jelle suki wala na since that presidential election baro ne man gagné no jang kotege nga ñing election to ban bekeje popular vote nga buti a beto because iko sunyaro mi ko carte distribute wala man keno kotege because nga jelle suki military supreme court nga wala sama supreme court ya fay banta man song because ni ajuwe they have no choice but to declare the election null and void. Dabo na naman lose election lo jam. Jamela time with 300,000 votes. Ka fo ndalo carte pa jinol sa. Jina bika carte pa yai. Jina bika fa o sunyaro le o carte yo li min dun system ko distribute. Coalition central to ka ke
But more la question o min ti walonko. If Jammeh was able to do it all these years and Barrow Fane Akano 2021, what makes you think because I understand when it comes to Tonya, and we asked that question here during the mayoral election na panel otongo 200,000 plus Barrow winter minna marginally because in the council election, National Assembly election, and then you know be popular vote UDP ka win. But the thing is, along with presidential election, do buka 100%. Natra Baro 2021 Jammeh time obe isunya yal sunya. Baro pananata the same tactics used as Yamin Fote. What makes you think it will use the 2026?
Because you can make kenumi ka usbik okay. No only that far. We all got our own system in place. So resource will make up tanung katamil samba coalition sanda kakije. Imawole keno this time round because the system will be done. Wala ne mo ken dandu ya distribute ko itole lo jang e ko nyek fonko parliamentary election na député plus remanta bental
ya fonna platform to jang
because ya be parent le côté ken pour ko suñaro ka tol distribute ñam ko vote ka distribute e ma ken wala ne non ten kilif ko soto lan the council elections and the mayoral ni chairperson the same thing yo le parent non ko rek bari nge block ñang wala ne mo kenom nin ngi be block non fo you distribute no koteke ni gagner la koteke. So nga wale block and 2026 is going to be the same.
So si amato baby la nyimi se ba Gajigo ko Dabo against Baro.
Baro against Dabo.
Baro ko sa la pinya Baro ni NPP bela free Dabo atol dronel.
Omu santo kumole.
Ani Gajigo fara
santo
kumole de.
Iman sila mola nyi
Akana
ba ko
I know.
Iman sila mo katami usenula. anu me pare UPM gamin lo decide to lay along nanyin telephone every single time they're trying to hack me because I don't know member bulu ibala be daming they try to hack me telephone sama le bulu sai dol bi je o man ke jan telephone fam they are trying to hack us every time yalo ko kunta yamen ke ngalo da bi nyamen am pare tam e kama mi tol yalo
wow
bari ta be phone because ni mo be kelola
yeah be kela ko be for fun
the counter
be kela ko be for
2026 Barrow is out nko sunyaro men kakata kala jam ko ngawo foyele ima keno parliamentary ima keno mayoral ima keno council elections ata kala ko 26 fanan Barrow ba butela nyimba ko kanne and we change this country for the better
wow
wallahi do ngadi mol ku kilin do nimol banta carte of fay
yani mo
Barrow be ganyal
yes
ko le foy
yeah
anna sa carte of fay to tuntul bu yalla ka men kanun ka sifo so mo ka election declare te kat nin carte of fay te jallu men talan sey na mer talan konon be election de
because mo be kala pour number so star ntol mere ntol nga ma declare ko ma isi de bar nga result so so ngol fintindel
exactly
yeah nga fintindi juranin councilors
ma sambe election on mo taje ni ay si man wat nga distribute mut la bir atul nga kelel
yeah
ntol nga le mesire minka Barrow te gagner la jang ko teke bo su ñaro te kelo la jang ko teke ate winno la mi ya wini ndinga wala stop
ate do keno side
Fatou ajube lu men birin ko Barrow gagner
ha
the camera sangol kata Gambia the camera sangol kata Banko was quiet at inauguration lungo yenta kala talantan sumanda o talal dani ura rema stedi wo fandino o manna to dala min kata Supreme Court ne ya lon konun ne na case jube ba iba disqualify iba bayan iba somnola iba jube la bari so na jube la fam itol yalo one alman reform ko sama la di Barrow la
how can you solve the
hand
question?
delivery.
No, Supreme Court can ilo decision was they should have given us the opportunity to look at what UDP had. And I think women will be left over jail no.
It will fall down kole ko.
Then will be that you test to la fan ko di ninga Supreme Court ninga evidence tol jenu.
Bari ne among for the Supreme Court.
Ha.
Mona bat ndala ndama evidence nyinjet.
Yeah.
Ndama jet.
We gave it to the Supreme Court.
Hadu bari mbemenda. Ni Supreme Court man son ka fenke. The court of public opinion bijele.
Yeah.
Ndama jet. Ninga evidence nyinjet supporting the fact that come election was stolen.
Yeah.
What what basis would I have to say NPP won? I haven't seen the evidence, but what I saw is the scale of defeat.
The scale of defeat was a scam.
Well,
so coming from the
scale of defeat, I just don't see the evidence explaining that all of that difference is explained by some malpractice of which there is evidence. Maji.
Yeah.
Ningaje, I'm waiting, to be convinced. But where is the evidence?
We didn't put all of that evidence out there yet. Supreme Court and they refused to touch it.
Supreme Court refused to give you a hearing.
Yeah.
Fine, you have no control over that. But the ultimate arbiters here, far more important than Supreme Court, is the people.
We could
to the people.
We could do that.
I saw there was time they were
coming for a I think the best evidence coming when the subsequent election militator. I think that's the best evidence we can give.
No.
And
but
when
you were going to the Supreme Court, will Manke follow? So what was the evidence you had didn't include the result of subsequent election?
Yes.
So
the polling stations like votes new. Up to today, IEC must not results bond like polling station by polling station. Okay? The election observers in European Union. It had last year at a quick allow bondi ba. Okay, so na bondi. Not a bondi because the votes in the polling results and mess no. Because the more the those Sunday point in the results we had to go around to collect them. Maybe so no fam. We got some places me along border villages me along the resource miri resource samana mo wuli fula ne felle carte pay world nga mo Senegal jay that was the area me Senegal lo MP min lo la parliament ko so la mo be mo ay di gambe wotas kala so kala carte pay ja o li abbe pay world dolu par o ba o siake pour ka election resolution sambana o victime son sambana min keta wala mbe system o kono e wala distribute dulal to taring. And this is what gave them that victory. Mo wale keno koteke because tabe fono because ne mo le kero mi alon content la bulo be fono le.
Well, I mean, anyway,
but I think 2026 and you'll see the results there.
Okay. That I mean for the whole, I mean, if I were in the opposition and I was in I'm in a position where I see evidence of electoral malpractice.
Yeah.
Supreme Court would actually be a secondary option. The first option would be to reveal it to the public
opinion.
because the court can decide one way or the other. But I mean, I think at least the rest of us can be forgiven for not, believe because we are, we haven't seen the evidence.
Yeah.
So I'm going by what we've seen, and what we've seen is that there was a very clear and convincing win by Barrow over UDP in 2021 election.
Look at it this way, Fana.
So.
Barrow Konyeko, the electoral register in the Gambia, got inflated to 900,000 people voting.
Yes.
Out of 900,000, over 90% voted. How many Soviet Union because of?
Yeah, that was.
Even Soviet Union was not getting that. So that was all false.
90%,
over 90%.
No, opposition will win that. Because in a lot of countries, right? If you have high voter turnout, more careful naturally is because people are anxious, they are excited to vote against the incumbent. So, lose. So, but that I don't know.
So do you also believe that the result?
The results were adopted.
Now, I believe that they were.
Let me tell you.
Let me say this. I think I saw some after the election. UDP. Release where they were showing us, for example, registration, or for example, I see the registration or close at 4. But some other people in the system, some other people were registered after 4, around 8 or so. I saw few of them. Now, was it enough? Actually, release some of them that they released. Now, was that enough to cover the 200 gap? I'm not sure about that. But I know that I saw some of those things that they showed. But was that enough?
So that's also my position. I have no doubt some malpractice happened. Now the question for me, I have not seen convincing evidence that explains that 200,000 difference in the poll. And I'm not a UDP supporter, so unless I have evidence to go by, what I know is, and I've seen indications in many places, and I know I am not alone in this. In the belief that many people voted for Barrow not because they really were enthusiastic about him, his performance, his policies, but they just didn't believe there was a credible alternative. This is why you are seeing a lot of this. Part of the reason, not the only reason, but part of the reason you see many people trying to enter politics, forming different parties rather than joining existing parties. I'm not saying that that rules out, a potential coalition. I still hope there is one, because as he said, we definitely need a strong coalition to have a chance to unseat an incumbent that has been in power for 10 years. But I think we also need to be realistic. The realism is here. For me, if the difference was only a few thousand, I would have definitely entertained the possibility that something happened. But this difference here is too huge. And I think...
And that's precisely the point.
No, I mean, no.
I'm
sorry. I don't think it's precisely the point. I think it is because of that difference. Because of that difference, that to me, the idea that that malpractice, I mean, the scale of that malpractice would be so big that even if you want to close your eyes to the evidence, the evidence will be hitting you in the face. This is the same government we talk about, the Adam Barrow government, that is very, very incompetent in all sort of ways. We sit here and talk about the incompetence of the government for how many hours? Yet they are able to do this massive massive electoral malpractice, and yet we don't have evidence like, the evidence, you are not tripping over the evidence. It is not consistent. Because you cannot say that this government is so incompetent in everything they do, but in this one regard where it really mattered, they are the most efficient
in covering it up.
To such an extent that somehow the evidence is only available to the leadership of one party. No one else seems to have evidence of that thing. I mean, people are not tripping over the evidence. That, to me, there is some inconsistency here. Okay. And I think we need to... I did not want Barrow to win in 2021.
Yeah, I did.
I did not vote for him.
He did not win.
No, I didn't vote for him. Believe me, I would have wanted a different result.
Yeah.
Because I didn't vote for Barrow. But we have to be realistic, face reality. If the first thing to solving a problem is to face the problem and look at it in the eye. Dabo and Ousmane Dabo lost in 2021. If we don't face that reality, we'll have the same result in 2026.
And what is the reality?
And that's why
why do you think, what was the problem? The problem, why did you think Ousmane Dabo lost in 2021?
No, I mean, the people made a decision.
Okay.
The people made a decision. Now, you cannot go and explain what everyone's decision, but collectively, at the end of the day, maybe the difference was in 200,000, maybe it was 100,000, maybe it was 150,000. Yeah. But all the same, the difference was that people decided whether or not they love Barrow or the alternative they were faced with, Ousmane Dabo, Mama Kande, Esafal, and the others, they decided that they would rather go with
Barrow.
I believe differently. I would have gone with most of those other candidates, but the result that the Gambian people decided was different. And I think we need to do an introspection and reflection and say, why?
Why?
Why is it that despite all of the shortcomings of the Adam Barrow regime, people still felt that he was a better option than the alternative? In that case, now we owe it to ourselves to present the Gambian people with a different and a credible alternative. If we don't do that, then we didn't listen to the Gambian people.
Okay. Now let me come in here because the credible alternative for us is not the story.
Okay.
Adam Barrow was more credible than anybody else in this country.
Yeah.
Adam Barrow, some people held their nose and voted for him, but they were a minority.
Yeah.
Adam Barrow, incompetence and other government is well known.
Yes.
Except when it comes to this wrongdoing, these people are Machiavellic. This is the people who have been involved in this massive corruption in this country. We all sense it, we all feel it, but you can't put your fingers on it until when the audit reports come out. That's when you see some of these things happening. You know it's happening, but you cannot put your fingers on it because they are very good at that. The same thing was what happened during the elections. We were sitting in our command center until 10 o'clock, 10:30, the results which were coming, we were winning and we were winning big. And all of a sudden the results stopped coming. Until about 3 in the morning, trickles were coming in. They were doctoring the results at that point. And when they finally came, they came in a flood because they had their algorithms and everything. They were doing their work and they were distributing these things between the polling coalition centers. They knew what they were doing. I was privy to I cannot say some of these things but let's leave it at that. But okay, the massive voter turnout of 90% plus is just nonsense. It didn't happen. Just a few thousands. They cannot transport 30,000 people across the border. They only bring a few thousands across the border.
Yeah.
The rest is what is in the system. It can only distribute coalition central. So when I want polling station result to a polling station, because when you tally that, you'll see the difference there. We'd release some of the evidence we had. The registration that was done outside the registration hours and outside the registration period We collated that information. But even that was not massive enough, to show that kind of victory. That victory came from the fact that those 300,000 votes, where are my 300,000 votes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the people who did it for Yajame, they reconstituted the same thing. And this was distributed in the system. Man parliamentary Ganyeno, council Ganyeno, chairman Ganyeno, and they will not win in 2026 because it all distributed on Koteke. That is the reality. Molman Barrow choose because it's a more credible alternative or it's better than what we have on the ground. No. They do swearing look at the stadium funding several times over. Imagine independent stadium with 30,000 people funding.
Yeah.
People were all just like with Samuel Katabankoka national mourning. Come on.
Yeah.
Barrow did not win and he will not win in 26.
2026 win.
No way. No way.
I agree. He will not win in he will not win in 2026.
He will not win. At least we agree on that.
Yeah, I agree because I think we have an opportunity to present the Gambian people with a different alternative than they had in 2021.
So that's
I agree. I agree that he will not win.
So UDP will win, but you agree that it should be a different alternative.
Yes. People should be presented with a different alternative.
The alternative could be, as we are saying, the coalition talks we're having, but we know that even without coalition,
you
will beat Barrow. Yes. It's first past the post in the Gambia.
Yes. And I said this.
We will beat him even for that. We want a bigger victory with a coalition.
I believe that, this is my belief, this election coming, our next president might not pass 40%. I cannot believe it's going to be between 35 to 39, up to 40.
It's possible.
I don't believe anybody would. You know, Barrow is not polling above 30%. Every credible polls, whether public or party politics, particularly internal pollings, Barrow is not polling above 32.
Not even 30%.
He is between 28 to 32.
We are political realists.
Yes.
We don't dream.
I have seen 3 different independent pollings apart from the separate one. Barrow is not polling above 32%. And New Oketa, there's a junk there out there. UDP around 28 less than the last election. But
according to him and
you follow me, as I get over that for a year, you might 5% but a year for?
Not 1%.
1% for
No. We are political realists.
Yeah.
We don't dream.
Barrow is not going to get up to. I'm not saying he's not going to win, but I'm saying the next president will not poll will not win more than 40%.
It's possible.
The
election is first past the post.
Yeah.
Somebody can win this election with even 30%, depending on how many parties are out there.
Yeah.
Okay? We do not dream. We look at the reality on the ground.
Yeah.
Hey, you are optimistic. I'm not optimist. I'm a realist.
I get excited because I get excited. When I look at the numbers, I get scared.
The numbers
because up to now, he's the most popular politician.
No way.
Up to now.
No way.
When it comes to the pollings.
Nembaro Findita B, Agata, just look at him on the streets. Just look at that. Nobody comes there.
I agree with him. He's not popular.
Come on the 25th.
Barrow is not popular.
Come on the 25th when Hussein comes back on the 25th of this month. You will see. That is the UDP base.
Yeah.
But we are going beyond the base. We are reaching out to other people as well.
Barrow call me. Welcome to Barrow Dimile. Ako na wato watale mole traffic all fundi.
You cannot do it.
He said this day. Nimbuka diade. And 25th.
Katara leafol and so forth. Apolo mo na I mole welcome ka ya juve.
Katara leafol.
Ya ka ya juve.
Ate mago ende fatala manka mankunda interview la. At least nga dani la publicly nga ko mo vimbe fo.
Usenu la nyinta Europe te.
Ha. Bari ko nyesilo Barrow nyel fele mbatu.
Okay.
Barrow fele tara Spain the 284,000 euros one night. Atol America ale 100,000 lesudo. Ale ni Europe ta man fe mo ale afode. Alman fe announce de.
I wish the auditors would audit that as well. will see a lot
284,000 euro.
from
24 million.
from where in Spain. I know Spain.
Ya intara Girona mol gameno bijelde.
Ta Girona, ta Mataron, Barcelona, ta Alicante. Go to any of those places. We are the people there. That's what I vote. Look,
But 284
But the people who went, how much money did they go with? Where's that money coming from?
Kabiringa Musa driving here and no successful. Musa ka kudo bonde NPP. Kabiringa je Musa delegation or lead. Go NPP ni ko mal bola na Girona.
Ani ko jël bota ko kataji.
Ani ni jama bal ka bola Girona de.
Ni jël bota kataji. Okay. When they have the fundraising events,
yes,
you see government institutions
buying
diamond tables or whatever.
With
our money.
Yeah.
With our money. Anybody who buys those tables should be sanctioned. That is our taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Government institutions kata table or sanji. Until na fundraising is our supporters who are putting the money on the table.
Yeah.
This is government funding that is going to those into the Barrow Dollar program.
Yeah.
Look, Barrow has no chance
of winning
in 2026. And Barrow knows it. Why are they going around to carrying castle?
For me, I like campaign that make Barrow manyana run na reform. No to that time. That is my campaign.
And I understand and I support
that is my campaign.
And I support it.
No
but our constitution.
Our constitution 3 years.
Yeah.
10 years there.
Exactly.
Akayental.
At the formula.
Model continental of time. Model on the NPP. Compete. Where our agenda continue. I will support that.
At the formula.
But at that time,
individual character and honesty should have prevented him from trying to seek a third term. But if he chooses to do so, the Constitution allows him.
That's true. That's true.
We wish he didn't run. At least he would go with some credibility and with some, after all, he was a Democrat, I don't tell 2 times, and that quite save his legacy. But he won't. Because he doesn't have that character. So he will run. We know he will run.
He will run.
And we'll still beat him.
Okay.
Okay, so for us, Barrow or not Barrow will beat NPP.
You will beat NPP. Yeah. More signal can program with the program. It's almost 3 hours show. To say interview but I don't understand the kind of conversations we have. It's but government especially when I have the 2 of you here. It's always a different ball game. But Gajigo PPA pareta. We have to come here and look at the program, the agenda, and all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Mr. Manneh, because nyakuma mboito la patira hanisa nyakubije ni tana fanya kwenye mbebo
milko the democracy tinyala one letter so same party is going to fall back in line and do the thing and then grow again. Our base is growing every day
again.
Yeah.
Okay, final message, Mr. Gajigo. Munira final message to the Gambians min bejivero.
No new okay. Coming Lavanda agree Lamin na ro walem ko ngalen de 2026 kay Gambenol for paritele baroe boji. So mol be nyanta ka findile ka jube ko banko la nyarota. Nga banko folo la nyarota jube. Pati fan kana jube ji. Mo kilina ko kana jube ji. Nga jube min nyanta bondla nyin ko ko be nyin al halo min ko min sim bondino woto nga o jube. Ni nga o ke kay. Nga ndel fanande ala warta 2027 inshallah fanan janta ajelale banko bita nyame
tenyalo Mr.
Yeah, banko be sora jawo men to ammo kumba andu mo be nyanta la ko nimbaro yano da 5 years to nyin sumba ko kanko sanyi dul ko tege Gambia pambantale Gambia bantale kati be kuriya men nabi it will go on steroids nta malam kunno la ko tege bin tunentale bani nga sanyi dudu baro la kote mesti la poto meron ko definti la kote par Gambia dum nga mera kote kete nyaaw ibe fankanu la wotele ite sonna nyi masa kunda ko tele nyi tilimbalia ite sonna masa kunda to continue nyi tinyaro la nyi banko ka su nyaaro mon ko kote ke say nyaw hada nyole fam nsaka dia ne wona noje wala be kere ise mo ne kenoje wala sin sal bondino carte fayola andu mal bonda carte fayola so wala be kere so Gambian ngam foto ngam fan kanu ngam banko kanu nkana nyo jaw ya to the point that fay mo mi simbe mantora so nga banko jube mi banko na fani banko dingol min si banko sambano ka bodde nyimbar nyinga taw kono na karto fay wole nga banko falin mo yela nyanto soto nyim banko ka nyim banko do ko man ko la yaade ne mo soto mi pare do ko la ne mo soto mi yela ko xamo bela ne nga ni yo bela min be nyim banko fam kan damma ne ngo fon damma ta sim fan da banko nyim banko do ko nole yani mita ku do ken Ousman Gajigo be senola ko di aman sula senola te fana be senola na kun ko le be senola man sula ko pare ka example sande mo wala ko nsim fam balundi no na banko kan nsi ku ken no banko kan ka samba banta so mo le fare yim banko kan paro na mo jumale ka ta senola jumale ka ku jumale ka ol be men don ka fu nyoma don ka doma ol kili na moto mi ya saya dila kargo karador nya ka wuli tanse ko do boy sansur in V8 $80,000 in fuel mo jilla hajo jara nyamba ko ka mo sol kilo million tannim fuda way student jira university fees joja nyilla haji te woto so nga banko kanu nga faw kanu nga banko bondi mo kurul bulu ngaro sila beto kan de nga nak kayro soto ja nga nyanto soto mol si fonyo dinu da ku doke wala mun nga niyoti nyim banko e andu inshallah 2026 alago kala nyel
inshallah 2026 kam ko gambe no lafta opposition no ke kilinti ando ngamera wo mo fenati mi alon ko obviously opposition leaders will nyanta jubela ye kafu ye kachali kumasi because to be honest nothing against the borough government, but I think Gambian belief, the Gambian Jama belief, the direction of Banco Katami Naman correct. Na jele marginal organization otodo. Gambia participated like so we released recently. Atandile ko Gambian ko corruption is rampant, is widespread in this country. Gambian ko the direction this country is going malafala. But another majority believe the walla. Lafta leaders will win for them opposition leaders will kafu killing ke ike killing ti direction do tandina because Gambian will lafta wall. Iko nyimbanko kata nyami na continue to tenting. Mamaringol be na julol jola na banko la julol be banko konto awartale banko bukata koma bukata nya fo koma dro fengo be dabe ko yari oto wo mu fenneti mi alon ko nyimu fenneti mi alon ko sobel le atandi tolma fo bar banko dingol le afu nyino mi kangote oto I hope the opposition 15 months to election this is the time to have conversations mole kachal kumasi ye bulol la nyoka ye hamol la nyoka ka jube e bitanya de anu fana kata million fulala IEC kata IEC wo ngajele fengol be dala fasila bayri coming for nyimma sakunda it looks like they just want to limit the number of people that are going to run for elections and that itself is not democratic. It's like you want to bring one single wodum manya national bal wobe keno la nyaadile nim falindirol ketan na National Assembly representatives authority minia lonko be banko dingol la hamol ni aspirational la kelaje ka lual vote minia lonko it will serve the interest of the Gambian people. Lual mimbe ko diaspora voting ke lual mimbe ko equality among everybody more minia lonko you can vote should be voted for. Because ninte ma 1 million so bari lafta mole carte fayni nte lo president ya because masoto and womu munati ben nyanto le taka oto nim mol kalo député bo wote ko luasi fal vote just because in own interest ito ma mera ko so me sekeno opposition ote bari ni kada opposition ote jang soma mbe hakilo blandi la some of these laws la because ito le vote for it so wobe keno la nyaadi la opposition ol fane na ye ke kilinti nga banko bondi bulo kono I'm sorry to say, but journalist, but also I'm a Gambian. And I believe this country is not in the right direction. I don't believe President Barrow should run. I believe he should bring somebody from NPP. This is something that I believe, and I've said it several times. And wolong kuti mi along ko banko dingol be left out.
And left out kan ber banko do ko wala ko yale bang.
Ko hana ye do ko fanke sangitan ukanyante. So ko yiman do ko ke anyam.
Ninga
continuity le.
Ninga kuruya kele. Na tonya londi. Na do ko kanyim banko. Don't steal, don't lie. Job wreck.
Bari ngi advertisement fo nyinjo. Man ta tulo. Ma bi kile yango ba dawe. Ni mo advertisement no. Fa nyim bi ki yango ba dawe. Man ta
propaganda le mo. Ngambe digole ko. Na fanya fo e bang. Kunya ro e bang. Na banko do ko.
Olam.
Ha.
But bilo binale.
Abin belen na fa.
No, bilo. But bilo binale.
Bilo ki yang.
Bilo yang.
Bilo yung bondi so bilo ki yang.
Chairman, I have to send you this bill. But good night. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure having you guys on the same platform.
Thank you.
People look forward to this kind of conversations. And I pray and hope you guys are politicians, but we continue having this kind of frank conversation.
Absolutely.
Especially about the economy, because you guys are the only people that I come and bring here and we look at the country's economy, because Banku Ding will be in a Bankola economy the situation in Kalaf Kalon. So all the politicians here can offer in there. All the time we have to come and discuss those ones, you know. And you know, I love it always, and I know that Namulka I enjoy Balake. They always ask me, Dr. Bane ni Dr. Gajigo Natira no. Because you know, when you guys come here, it's always very refreshing just to listen to intellectual conversation. And
last part of the that does not stop us. Love for each other and respect for each other.
Yeah.
I want that
No, you know, it was so cold.
Sometimes you can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And move forward.
And you know, a lot of people should learn from this. You guys disagreed on something. I'll appoint that, he'll appoint that. But it was so respectfully done.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, another agreement. Yes, we agreed but different approaches. Which was beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And to my team, sorry we stayed here. It's almost 9 o'clock on to this one. Sorry about that. Good night to you all. See you again next week. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers. our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward